Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Oh, yeah. There's powerful niggardry at work here.
These blacks.
I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
Je grave les images de souvenirs lointains, beauté de paysage enflamme mon destin. Les airs d'autrefois déclinaient les saisons, aux innombrables voix ont écrit ma chanson. Je grave les images de souvenirs lointains, beauté de paysage, enflamme mon destin. Les airs d'autrefois écrivaient les saisons, aussi innombrables voix écrit ma chanson.
Hey, you know what? Let me hit that.
Really?
I can handle it.
I am certain that you cannot.
Oh, come on. I smoked a ton of weed in the 90s.
Right, the 90s.
What is good? We are back. Hope I got my systems right. How's everybody doing out there, y'all? Appreciate you checking back in with your boy. You guys been through it all with me. Struggle streaming and everything. Shout out to the Gulag Gang, man. You guys been holding me down for a long time now. I want to thank everybody who's ever donated to the show at any point. I appreciate all you guys' support over the years. We are still going strong. We are still here. Can I get a 1 in the chat if my audio was clear? Can I get a 1 in the chat if everything's working out on your end? Thank you for that. We're going to get started in just a minute, y'all.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
After the blacks pulled up to the Spencer home, police cordoned off both ends of the block to try to keep the angry whites away.
Half of the people, these people want anything and they don't want to work for anything. This is what they want. They come up from the South, they go on welfare. They come from Puerto Rico, they go on welfare. We're sick of paying for these people.
Does he have a right to live here?
No.
Why not?
Because he's black.
He's black. I'm afraid of them.
Of who?
Of them, the blacks. I'm afraid to go out at night.
You get a minority group in any area, you see what happens to it. It's all welfare.
They don't add to the area.
And they don't live like human beings. They live like animals, and that's what they are, animals.
I don't like them. I don't want them in Rosedale.
Why not?
No part of Rosedale. We just want a white neighborhood. No blacks at all.
That's all we're asking for. We
want to keep the neighborhood
we want to keep it the way it is.
After the blacks pulled up to the Spencer home, police cordoned off both ends of the block to try to keep.
We're not ashamed of our heritage, and no, there is nothing left to prove, because yes, there is a pain in our roots that our being is anchored to, but you will see beauty when this forest grows. I swear you will see us for who and what we really are, because we are the same stem with different leaves. We are the same heart with different dreams. We are the same love with different means. We are the same journey, just with different wings. So like, what does it mean? Where are you from originally? Where are you from originally? We're not ashamed of our heritage, and no, there is nothing left to prove, because yes, there is a pain in our roots that our being is anchored to, but you will see beauty when this forest grows, I swear.
A motherfucker just supposed to take and accept whatever the fuck you say, because I'm a black woman. Bitch, shut up. The fuck out of here.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
All right. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for tuning in. We are going to have a discussion once again about race and politics in America. DEI, the blacks, and we've added a new wrinkle, a new phrase just dropped right now. A new white power phrase just dropped. I don't mean like white power like with the fist in it, with the the Sig Heil white power. I mean a phrase that's powerful for white people, right? A new phrase of white power has just dropped. Yes, competent white men. Have you guys heard about competent white men? Yeah. Listen, I'm new too. Things are happening to me just like they're happening to you. Apparently, we have a new thing called competent white men. Yeah. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever met a competent white man before. Apparently, it's this new thing the Trump administration say they want to figure out. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever encountered a competent white man. I don't want you guys to get like caught off guard. You know, don't get caught behind the 8 ball or nothing like that. But apparently, we're doing the competent white man thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, some of you guys even work with a couple. Oh shit. So you're like progressive and shit, Mike. You actually work with a couple. Damn. All right. All right. Shout out to the competent white men out there. That's what we're going to be doing that apparently. Trump is appointing some competent white men to help out. You know what I mean? They're not going to be doing everything. We're not going to fire all the blacks, but, you know, we're going to get some competent white men up in the game. So, you know, we shake it up a little bit because we've been giving it to the women, the gays, the blacks. You know, we've been giving it away to these guys for a long time. And apparently we're going to do the competent white men thing. We're going to talk about that. We're going to come back to the competent white men thing. Uno momento. Because the DNC, it's a weird place right now that the DNC is in, because they just elected what appears to be a straight white male to be the leader of the DNC, like their DNC National Party. He's the leader of the party. So they elected a straight white male. Then they also elected David Hogg and like some gay Dominican dude to be like the co-vice chair. So it was a pump fake. You thought they were going to do the competent white men thing, but nope, still gays and blacks too. And so before we even get too deep into the show, I want to take a quick look at the DNC and their little gathering. It was quite the event. I got to tell you, this DNC selection thing, it was a process. I got to tell you, it was definitely a process, man.
And we'll begin with the opening statements. Each candidate will have 30 seconds, and we'll start with Dr. Quintessa Hathaway.
Good evening, everyone. It is my desire to be the next DNC chair, and I just want to give you all a little bit of.
This is Dr. Yes, respect her shit. She's a doctor. Dr. Quintessa Hathaway. Teddy, don't you say it. You keep your powder dry, Teddy. This is going to be a long show, Teddy. I don't want you new guys fizzing off all early in the show. All right, you new guys, you're gonna wear yourselves out really early. Just hold, God damn it. You haven't even heard. We haven't even got to the musical portion of the show. God damn it.
Something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days. You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hathaway. And we'll begin.
Yeah, so the Democrats were selecting leadership recently. Was the white guy. I thought the Democrats didn't like straight white men. F you. They chose a white guy. This guy.
In October of 2024, a large part, about 1/3 of Trump's advertising budget went specifically to this one ad. It was about gender-changing surgeries for a small number of transgender, incarcerated, undocumented immigrants. These particular ads ended with the line, "Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you." How should Democrats respond to this attack?
Our party has to live its values. Everyone has dignity. Our party believes that no matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter who you love or who you are, you have dignity, and we're going to fight for you. And that's what we're going to do as a Democratic Party.
I don't think he's like a practicing homosexual, but he does sound pretty gay for a white guy. I got to tell you, I'm not, accusing him. I'm not assuming his sexual proclivities. I don't think he's a practicing homosexual. I just think he sounds pretty gay for a white guy. You listen again and tell me.
In October of 2024, a large part, about 1/3 of Trump's advertising budget went specifically to this one ad. It was about gender-changing surgeries for a small number of transgender, incarcerated, undocumented immigrants. These particular ads ended with the line, "Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you." How should Democrats respond to this attack?
Our party has to live its values. Everyone has dignity. Our party believes that no matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter who you love or who you are, you have dignity, and we're going to fight for you. And that's what we're going to do as a Democratic Party.
He's going to vote for the queer stuff. He was too he was trying to play the competent white guy role, but he's going to vote for queer stuff. I promise you, he's going to vote for queer stuff. He's going to steal your money and give it to a transgender reading group or something like that. Oh, man. And just in case you didn't think the Democrats were religious, because, we all accuse them of being like godless, homosexual, communist, and all that. They say they're not godless. So, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
May the endless, boundless energy of the universe wrap around you with awe and love and well-becoming. Amen, Ashe, Amin, and may we together make it so.
She just prayed to the holy universe. At the last 3 official political gatherings, the DNC, the RNC meeting right before the election, the conventions right before the election, and now at this thing, everybody's praying to strange gods. Nobody wants to pray to Jesus no more. And I'm not even like a Bible thumping churchgoer, but I wouldn't mind it if my politicians actually prayed to Jesus again. All right. I liked it better. Now that we've tried both, now that we have like a giant monkey god statue in Texas, I think I liked it better the other way. I know sometimes you got to try things out. You got to put on a new pair of shoes or something like that to see how the other guys walk. But now that we've tried that out, I liked it better before when my leaders prayed to Jesus, bro. Call me crazy, call me old-fashioned, but I just trusted my leaders more when they all prayed to Jesus. Because now when you start praying all these funny guys with strange names, I don't really know if we're praying about the same thing. I know for a fact we're not praying to the same guy anymore. So, what are we even talking about here? Anyway, that's enough of that.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a Black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes.
I don't know if you guys could tell. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I don't know. Sometimes my signal gets kind of fuzzy. But that is a Black woman speaking. Yeah. I know, right? Some of you guys probably like smacking your phone, shaking your laptop, trying to fix the image. Yeah, no, it's a Black woman speaking. Yeah.
I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a Black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes, I am speaking.
Good evening, Democrats. Look up here. 3 strong Black women standing before you. 3 Black women who, rather than just grabbing a chair, ran for chair.
Te quiero mucho, Papa. Gracias por todo. My name is Artie Blanco, Freddie Blanco's daughter. Vote for me for vice chair.
Look at this room, y'all. Truly take it in. This is the Democratic Party. We are our strongest when we stand together.
We are in a time in this country when our democracy and our rights are under attack. We're at a time where Black and brown people, women, and other minorities are being blamed for everything that's wrong with this country.
So let's fight together for a stronger and more inclusive Democratic Party.
Good afternoon, DNC.
Let me say something. Over the last several days, we've seen what happens when we have the wrong people in powerful places. And so today, I ask for your support in electing me as your DNC vice chair, because in a time of crisis, leadership matters.
My people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are sick and tired of being the last one hired and the first one fired. We are sick and tired of the...
And I've spent the last 15 years fighting for the American people, all 340 million of them.
Work to do to organize, show up, and win. And that is why I'm asking the people who have stood with me in this ride, because you know the work that I do to protect the vote.
Free Zone Lou asked a hypothetical question. Do you think men would accept the tax raise if it guaranteed that women got back to old traditional values, high taxes with good women or lower taxes with today's women? That is a devil's bargain, isn't it? Jesus, Free. I don't have an answer for that right away. That is a very good question. It's not a question I can just, flippantly respond to, but that is a hell of a proposition there. It's definitely worth considering. I mean, I like my money, but I hate women having rights. And it's a matter of, weighing the two against one another. Huh. Yeah. Shadow, I'm with you. I gotta sit with that one for a little while. But back to this DNC thing.
Rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules.
Yo, they spend so much time trying to be gay-clusive, they can't even get to the meeting. They all this time organizing the theirs, thems, their, hers, he, she, his. I don't even know how you pronounce the XE one. Is that a G, a C? How do you pronounce that type shit? They, them. Is that Z, them, hers, they, him, he? I mean, they clearly haven't learned a thing. They can't admit they were wrong about anything, ever. Because if they back down on anything, they have to back down on a lot of things, almost everything. And who wants to do that? They were having such a good time.
To do this, our process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week. But I hope you will see that in practice, it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed to ensure equal access to the ballot, regardless of gender identity. As we must elect a candidate of any gender as well as 1 male and 1 female vice chair, we will first ask members to elect a candidate of any gender on the first ballot.
Yes, Cyber, I do know that there is a transgender cult on a little bit of a killing spree lately. Yes, that is a thing. Isn't it weird? As we have more and more, first, we never had a thing called transgender shooters growing up, right? None of us growing up ever had that. School shootings only happened as most of us were in school, right? And in the last, I don't know, 4 years now, we've had a handful of transgender shooters. And now we have a transgender terrorist cult, apparently. And it seems like the more the Democrats cater to the transgender community, the more violent and imbalanced the transgender community seems to become. It's like you're feeding a beast. You're literally feeding a monster, apparently.
Any candidate, male, female, and non-binary, can be elected on that ballot. After a candidate is elected on the first ballot, we'll have one officer of the three. So then we will know which position is filled of the one male, one female, and one vice chair of any gender. Our second ballot would also be for a candidate of any gender. Then our third ballot will be the third position that is remaining based on the two results. Either a male candidate if a candidate that is not male has not been elected, or a female candidate if a female has not been elected.
Okay. And shout out to True Hype over in the Rumble chat with the $2 Rumble chat. He says, are they on CP time too? That is actually an interesting question. If we're gonna like make up rules for transgender sexualities or gender identities or whatever, can we make up like flexible times for people who identify as Black? Because, you know, once you identify as Black, you do kind of slip into a little bit of a time warp. Like, time doesn't totally, like, you know, phase out of sync. It just gets a little fuzzy around the edges for you. You know, 5 o'clock turns into 5:18. 4 o'clock becomes like, you know, 4:29. They should make an allowance for CP time. If they're going to change the rules for all the transgenders and stuff, I mean, I want special Black people time code rules. I'm not really late. I identify as Black. You're being racist.
My people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are sick and tired of being the...
Oh, we heard from her already. I'm sorry. The new vice chairman of the DNC, you guys. He's the co-chair. He's a vice co-chair.
You Democrats! In the words of Beyonce, America has a problem, but Democrats, we're about to fix it. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's get to work.
I don't know. As soon as he started talking, I started smelling fruit. You guys smell fruit? It's really weird. As soon as I hit the play button on that video, it's like I started smelling fruit. This is really weird.
David Hogg.
There it is again.
In the words of Beyonce.
There it is
America
again.
has a problem, but Democrats, we're about to fix it. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's get to work. David Hogg.
Yeah, like tangerines and pineapples and
thank
shit.
you, Chairman Harrison. Can we give a round of applause to Jamie? Thank you. Thank you. Who's ready to take the fight to the Republicans and win this thing? Are you guys ready to fight? It's been a long day, but guess what? We have a long road ahead. Let's go and kick some ass.
I don't think David Hogg has ever actually been in a school fight. Because, you know, as you become adults, fighting tends to fade off somewhere in your 20s. You don't really get in a fight so much as you actually become an adult. But I don't think he's ever actually been in a fight. Like, that face has never been punched before. And he probably went to, like, really nice schools with really, you know, progressive liberal teachers. They discouraged all that kind of thing. But he's going to fight now. He's going to fight for the Democrats. He doesn't know how it's done, but he's going to do it. Right? He doesn't know how the hell it's going to get done, but God damn it, he's going to fight. He's going to Google how to fight, and he's going to come back and teach you guys.
It's even on gender right now.
It's evenly split.
Yes.
So
I'm so sorry. Hi, Brad Tully, former parliamentarian for the city of Utah. I do have a question, parliamentary for the chair, if she would. What happens? So that's assuming that that so few candidates get zero that we can sustain 6 additional losses on top of that. What happens if we have 8 candidates who get zero on this round? Do we have to eliminate those 6, or would they be eligible again on a subsequent round? So what happens if we?
So it's 4. So
It's down to 4.
Right.
They're still trying to figure out how to count the gay rules. Like adding the gay stuff to the algorithm, they really can't solve the equation anymore. So they're trying to work it out.
But what happens? What happens if 8 people get zero and then we eliminate 4? Then we've eliminated 12 candidates of whatever's there. So the question is, so it's down to 4. Let's just say that of the remaining candidates, and I'm not doing math, so please correct my numbers on there. What if 8 candidates get zero? We eliminated an additional 4. Do we have, or 9 or whatever candidates get zero? We eliminate an additional 4. Do we have enough candidates remaining to elect a full slate? Yes. Even if they're all women who get zero, and then we eliminate based on that?
the motion was, as amended, was that we drop the 4 lowest performing candidates in the next round, 2 men, 2 women, as well as anyone who gets 0, for a maximum, why don't we say, up to 4 gender balanced would get dropped along with 0 for a maximum of 6 people being removed in the next round. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then we could still have a fulsome.
You know, I'm thinking about the 2016 election, and it's totally the 2020 election? Yeah, I'm thinking about the 2020 election, and it's totally possible that the Democrats were totally honest every step of the way. Like, it's totally possible the Democrats didn't cheat at all. They're just retarded, and they couldn't cheat if they wanted to, because you have to actually be a little bit intelligent to, get over on people, right? And so maybe they never cheated. Maybe they're just actually really dumb. Maybe they're just dumb. Because you know what? The Democrats, they seem to be having comprehension issues. And instead of going all around the world trying to figure out all these advanced, complex social political reasons for why the Democrats are what they are, they're kind of evil and they're kind of dumb. I think that kind of explains most of it. A lot of it, anyway.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did Donald Trump figure out? I mean, Joe Rogan is obvious, right? Like, we knew the guy had a big audience. It's not like we were like stunned, but like, how the hell was he, the 78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still like writes handwritten notes? How did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running
it was a movement. Look,
heading a cultural movement versus a campaign.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen. So everybody keeps, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear.
Yeah, he's not the idiot. And maybe we're not the idiots either, right? He's not the idiot. Maybe you're the dummy. Maybe it's you. Maybe the dummy in the room is you guys. I know it's a crazy thought to consider, but you should at least consider it, because you're clearly struggling here. Do me a favor, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Please support the stream if you haven't done so already. The easiest way to do that is to hit the link in the chat and follow me on Rumble. And you can support the show directly on Rumble through a Rumble chat. You can also go catch me on Venmo at The Hoodservative on Venmo. Thank you, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Please support the show.
Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know how we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
You know, we joke, right? Or we make light, we jest, and we say that DEI is the new N-word.
Yeah.
It's not the new N-word. It's worse than the N-word. The term DEI right now has become the worst slur in American history. It's worse than the N-word. The term DEI or DEI hire is not just being.
How did it become the worst slur? DEI is really the word. I can think of worse words. I mean, nobody really wants to fight when you say DEI, but you let one N.
I said a nigger to the nig, a niggy niggy nig nigger, nigger nig niggy, niggy to the nig nig nigger, niggy to nig nig the niggy nig nigger.
Some of you guys listening right now, there's a little part of you that wanted to fight just watching that. You never want to fight when I play some DEI stuff. You only want to fight when stuff like that comes around. I don't know if DEI is really that powerful of a word just yet, but nice try, Van.
Right? Or we make light, we jest, and we say that DEI is the new N-word.
Yeah.
It's not the new N-word. It's worse than the N-word. The term DEI right now has become the worst slur in American history. It's worse than the N-word. The term DEI or DEI hire is not just being used to undermine the qualifications, the capability, and the readiness of Black people and women and other people in all of these different sectors. It's not just minimizing them. DEI is placing the blame of all of society's ills at the feet of these people.
Now, I've been talking about this a lot lately on other channels. I wasn't really streaming much, but this DEI stuff, Black folk got to stop jumping in front of the bullet for all these issues, these little social programs, because we made ourselves the face of it. And now you're mad when people don't like your face. Like, that sounds like a skills issue, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There is a religious allegiance to the white male orthodoxy that this propping up of this DEI, anti-DEI agenda.
And now we slowly introduce the main topic for the evening, the competent white men. And not just that, but the reassertion of the competent white men, the primacy of the competent white male in leadership positions. Is it really a bad thing, especially considering how awful things seem to be getting right now?
Is beholden to that this propping up of this DEI, anti-DEI agenda is beholden to that is not just dehumanizing, it seeks to set a cultural and intellectual slavery and caste system that is unbeatable.
A cultural and intellectual slavery or caste system that is unbeatable. And this is really underneath. You can hear it if you like turn down the music and listen closely. You can hear the bitterness and the resentment and the lack of hope in your own group that you say you love, and that you say Black people are so awesome and they do all these things. You know, we invented the pyramids, we invented Vimanas, we was flying around in spaceships before you had horses and shit. You know what I mean? Like, they say all these things, but then when you say, hey, listen, man, if I take away, you know, affirmative action, these white folk just gonna get all the jobs, bro. It's gonna be crazy.
A cultural and intellectual slavery and caste system that is unbeatable by statistic, by example, or by actual happening. The belief that every single thing that goes wrong in American or world society is because white straight males aren't in charge is a religious endeavor. It takes
a religious endeavor. He said it's a religious endeavor. Like he's talking about Jesus or something.
Get it again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Religious endeavor is it's heavy. It's heavy. But to be fair, we're dealing with a heavy issue. I think to, you know, frame it around religious terms is a bit far. It's a bit far-fetched, but this is heavy stuff. Now, I want to address Black Uru strikes, and shout out to Black Uru. I haven't spoken to you in a while, brother, man. Hope all is well. He says, I don't recall Black men making themselves the face of DEI. I doubt DEI even came to mind of most Black men prior to it becoming a political football white men have made of it. I have some thoughts on this, Black Uru. Black people in general have made ourselves the face of DEI, so I'm not really going to let Black men off the hook in that, because clearly you have Van Lathan, and I'm going to play two other Black men out of pretty much all the prominent media Black men. They all defend this shit. Unless you're a right-leaning Black man, you're going to say positive, defensive words about the DEI initiatives, Black Uru. That's just, I don't know how you get around that. But Black people have made ourselves the face of DEI. That being said, we are only the face. We are the mascot. We are not the body. We're not the brain. We are literally the black face of DEI. DEI is a giant blackface initiative to hide, you know, women, gays, transgenders, handicapped people, and foreigners of all kinds of shady backgrounds. Black people are the black face of a really shady movement that God knows how many awful things have been done in the name of diversity. But black folk, we fight to be the face of these things. And now we got to accept that people don't like our face right now, because that's what you get for putting your face on the front of some bullshit. Stop putting your face where it don't belong. But we're gonna listen to more Black men defend this DEI movement, just so we can double down on this point, Black Uru. Black men, you know, we can't get away from this. As much as I say Black men, well, we are the least to benefit from any DEI initiatives, right? Because we just don't score enough diversity points. Technically, we rank just below the white man. In the diversity pyramid of who to hate, Black men, straight Black men, are literally number 2. Like Puffy and Mace out this bitch, right? Straight white men are at the top of the I hate you and I want you to die DEI pyramid. And then right under, well, just a little bit of ways, you know, there's number 2 spot, straight Black men. Because remember, we are the white people of black people. If we are the white people of black people and the white man is the enemy, what does that say about the straight black man? They didn't think I can do all this abstract mathematics and shit. That's why you can't fool me.
It's a religious endeavor. It takes faith and belief and total capitulation to white supremacy to believe that.
So obviously Van Jones, he believes there's something like a religious quotient and an element to this DEI thing, you know? It's like we're trying to bring Thor back.
They want heterosexual white men running everything. Hashtag, we tried to tell you.
And to be fair, let me just say this unequivocally, in case anybody has any doubts about where I stand. I think we got to let the straight white guys, you know, give them some of the power back. Shit, things are clearly getting out of hand. It's more than obvious. All right, straight white men are the enemy, and that's what we want to take everything away from. And as you've been waging this war against straight white men, it's like we're getting overrun by Mexicans first. Then it was the Venezuelans. Fucking Haitians started eating people's pets and stuff in Ohio. I'm just saying, not to, you know, all the weird transgender stuff. Ever since you guys have been waging this nonstop war on the straight white man, things have been getting a little shaky. All right. I just want to go back to Rocky 2 where we was friends at the end. Everybody wants to go back to Rocky 2, bro. I don't know why you guys couldn't be happy at the end of Rocky 2. No. You guys wanted to act like it never happened and just fight the Civil War all over again. No, everybody was good after Rocky 2. We was running around in the jungle trying to kill the predator. Remember that shit? You remember we was running around in the jungle with this big white boy with the weird accent trying to kill an invisible alien and shit? Things were fucking dope. But no, you guys wanted to have war.
I was in a chat and somebody said, hey, you know, and the way we need to respond to these people, you know, we need to tout our degrees. No, I'm not doing that. I need every person, every black person listen to me right now. And if I sat here and had Nola lay out her credentials and Greg lay out his credentials and Reese lay out her credentials and I lay out my credentials, let me tell you something. These white races, it don't matter. We could have 7 degrees each. You know what they're going to say? You're a DEI hire. You're a DEI hire. And all y'all white women, they talking to your ass. When the fires broke out, that white woman who was a fire chief in Los Angeles, they call her a DEI hire. You know why? Because she a lesbian. They sat there.
Well, at least it ain't because she black, right? I mean, let's keep it a buck. It's not because she was black. I mean, that was kind of part of it. That part went without saying, but she was a big gay woman. You know, gay. Let me just say this, because there are things that you're not supposed to say, politically speaking. And this is why I'll never run for office. I'll just talk about politics forever. But a lot of gay women have deep-set resentment against men. Because in quite a few cases, a lot of men have driven women to the other side of the fence in one way or another. It is what it is. It's very ugly.
They will call you whatever. If I showed y'all how they hit Nancy Mace, Nancy Mace was defending herself. Oh, I did this, and I got into the Citadel. And them white men like Matt Walsh said, oh yeah, that was a male-only place, and you sued, and that's how you got in. So you got in because of DEI. These white racists, they want heterosexual white men running everything. And guess what, all you dumbass white women, 52% that voted for Donald Trump, They can't stand your ass. I keep telling y'all white women, they want your ass to stay in that kitchen. The only clock they want you to look at is the clock on the stove. They want you to lay down, shut up, don't even moan and birth their babies and stay at home and take care of them. And y'all silly asses vote along with these white men. They don't want your ass in the workplace. They are mad as hell that y'all now can get jobs. These white men, they want America from the 1930s and 40s and 50s when white women knew their place, when black people knew their place, when Asian people knew their place, and all Asian folk, y'all can keep. I love it how y'all sued Harvard and won and got rid of affirmative action, but then the white folks kept whiting and kept their places at Harvard, and y'all numbers dropped. Then y'all want to holler, y'all want some quotas.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Do me a favor, guys, like, share, and subscribe, support the video. And again, if you haven't done so, please follow us over on Rumble. You can support the show directly on Rumble with a Rumble chat. You can also find me on Venmo at TheHoodservative. Now, you didn't expect Roland Martin to step out and be defending white women, did you? Now, all of a sudden, he's a champion for white women. That's crazy. I thought white women was the enemy. I thought white women got most of the DEI jobs. And it's crazy. If white women get most of the DEI jobs, then why are you fighting so hard for this? I don't get it.
Well,
Yeah.
that was
I think
Ed
they want
Blunt.
certain women in the workplace just to look at them, not to be functional.
No. They don't even want to look at the white women in the workplace. They don't even want to look at them.
I think so.
No, they don't even want to look at it. They don't want their asses there. And if they are there, they want them to shut the hell up, wear low plunge outfits, and don't say nothing. That's what they want. So people just need to understand what we're dealing with here. I need Democrats to stop trying to reason with these crazy people. People say, oh no, we need to be able to go talk to them. You cannot reason with a racist and a sexist who wants to tell you they are not a racist and a sexist. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there. Folks, I can't reiterate this enough. Listen to me clearly.
It's crazy because I was doing this the other day where they actually played Trump at the press conference and he wasn't talking about no black people. He wasn't talking about no women. He was just reading off the list and it was like handicapped people. It was literally dwarves and crazy people. Everybody that you don't want to see at the airport, basically.
Courage to say what needs to be said, even when it makes other folk uncomfortable. You want to contribute giving Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. This is it right here. And if you are listening, simply go to Black Star Network.
I realized he just did half that video as like a commercial. Like that's an 8-minute video and 5 minutes of it is like a promo pitch. That's nasty. Let me move over to Stephen A. Smith real quick. Stephen A. Smith wanted to talk about this DEI stuff too. Everybody's afraid of white guys. It's crazy.
Businesses to get into Trump. And I'm not going to even call it politics. I'm going to call it social commentary because that's what I feel it is. And that's where I need to get started. First, the news, the tragic news out of Washington, D.C. Wednesday night, the plane crash between an American Airlines commuter jet and a Black Hawk helicopter. All 67 people aboard the American Eagle flight and Army helicopter were killed when the aircraft collided over the Potomac River. Victims on the American Airlines flight included Russian Olympic figure skaters, youth skaters, and their parents, just to name a few. The cause of the collision is unclear, and the National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. However, a preliminary report by the FAA indicated that air traffic control staffing was, quote, not normal, end quote, at the time of the crash. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump spoke to reporters and implied that diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, DEI, may have been the cause of the tragedy. Here's what President Trump said before reporters at the White House yesterday.
So as you know, last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel. I'll have more to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program.
Now, before I get to my comments, because I got a lot to say about that we just saw, I want to play some sound from New York Senator Chuck Schumer reacting to Trump's comment.
Now, notice he cut Trump off, but we all played that clip the other day on my last stream, and he basically left it to, he read right off the list of FAA requirements. It was not about, you know, minorities or anything like that, but they can't stand that. They don't want to hear that.
Take a listen.
I just watched President Trump's news conference. Listen, it's one thing for internet pundits to spew off conspiracy theories. It's another for the President of the United States to throw out idle speculation as bodies are still being recovered and families still being notified. It just turns your stomach.
Amen. Amen. And let me state for the record, I'm not one that usually agrees with Chuck Schumer. I don't like a lot of things he says and does personally, because I think a lot of it is pomp and circumstance and not much to do about anything. Half the time, I know how knowledgeable and formidable he is and has been in the United States Senate, but nevertheless, there are things that I disagree with him about. This is not one of them. To say that President Trump was utterly irresponsible in the rhetoric that he spewed is an understatement. You don't know if DEI had anything to do with it. He admitted he didn't know.
Black men are making themselves the face of DEI, bro. It is what it is. This is not the 3 for 3 right here, bro. And there's more. Trust me, there's more. I'm just not going to show you every single one.
What the hell you say it for? Why'd you open your mouth? Why would you do that? Because you see, the more he opens his mouth about stuff like that and the quickness with which he's willing to throw in DEI, it's crystallizing what ultimately your agenda in terms of your administration is really, really all about if you're going to go that direction. And let's understand what we're talking about and what we're listening to when we hear him spew this. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Regardless of the fact that when you talk about diversity, usually women, primarily white women, benefit from such things just as they had benefited from affirmative action because they were labeled a minority. We're never including them when we're talking about this stuff. When you say diversity, equity, and inclusion,
But look how hard they actually are fighting for white women, though. That's the crazy thing about it. You claim to be, you know, fighting for the blacks get this, the blacks get that. But in your own admission, this is mostly white women. White women counted as a minority, a double minority sometimes too. But I'm just saying, you know.
You say DEI, you know what that means to people outside of the minority communities? Unqualified minorities. It's automatically assumed that that's who you're talking about. And nobody wants to take into account, as I reiterated and regurgitated just the other day, how did it come about? How was affirmative action? How did affirmative action ever come about? How did stuff like the Rooney Rule ever come about? How did DEI come about? DEI came about in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder by a police officer in Minnesota, Derek Chauvin, who kept his foot on George Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And the other cops right near him did nothing. As this man was calling for his mama and losing his breath of life. And an uproar ensued, and protests ensued, and riots ensued, and white America couldn't deny how heinous that act
He's telling a little
was. So
story
they
right
stood
here.
up and they raised their hands and they said, "We're listening. We want to hear you." And what they did is they engaged.
I don't think that was white America like you saying it is. That was, white liberals just had their moment. White liberals had a lot of momentum because, corporate America and governments around the world gave them a lot of energy, but it wasn't like white America the way you say it.
An overkill. Let's admit it. Let's call it what it is. And what they did is they engaged in overkill. Let's admit it. Let's call it what it is. And what they did is they engaged in overkill. Let's admit it. Let's call it what it is. And what they did is they engaged in overkill. Let's admit it. Let's call it what it is. We're talking business now. Overkill ensued. And what happened is you saw corporate America and beyond trying to make amends.
If you're going to acknowledge overkill ensued, right, then you can't cry when they undo your overkill. I think that's something you just got to take on the chin. If it was overkill, then they got to try to erase some of that shit. Because it was overkill, right? You did too much, right? So since you did too much, we have to undo what you did, right? Because it was too much. It was overkill, right?
What happened is you saw corporate America and beyond trying to make amends for its negligence, for its unfairness, the inequities that it had exercised, and they said, we want to make up for it. So they went into overload, and they poured money and resources into certain things, in some cases, DEI. And what you're seeing now is the scaling back of that because the momentum has died down. And you no longer have to prioritize things the way that you once did. You feel me, Aaron? You feel me, Mike? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, you niggas ain't special no more. The white man is special now. Yeah. The white man is special now. You niggas ain't special no more.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
And as a result, now you're saying, let's get back to normalcy per se. Let's not engage in overkill. Let's not be a bit too excessive. Let's not just throw money against the wall. Money, by the way, most folks don't have. And now you're seeing the scaling back of it. And in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, there's a justification on the part of the Trump administration to hide behind DEI, to justify cuts that you know inevitably have to come in order for you to shave some of the overhead that you have to have because of the national debt and beyond. With $36 trillion in debt. You really think that immigration is just about people feeling safe in the streets? We've had immigrants in our country forever. Immigrants helped build this country. That's why, for the most part, we've been proponents of folks coming across our borders. We just didn't want flagrantly open borders like President Joe Biden.
Remember, overkill, right? Overkill. Y'all did too much. Y'all was doing too much for way too long. And now this is where we are now. You got to take it on the chin.
Authenticated or okayed. But we've always had immigrants coming to this country. And we've always benefited from their participation in this.
And there's another half lie. We haven't always had immigration at these retarded levels. That's one. And then if you really want to get into America's history, we only started having third world immigration like that after the 60s, after like civil rights and all that. And one of the very first acts of Congress in America's history was to limit immigration to basically white people from like Western Europe, like England, Germany, France, or whatever. They didn't even want all of white people in America. They only wanted approved white people in America. That was one of the very first acts of Congress, was like, nah, don't trust the niggas from over there. They be doing crazy stuff on the other side of Europe.
This country in building this nation. So this is not new. What happens is you have an inordinate amount of bodies. And because you have that inordinate amount of bodies, you're saying, okay, that has to stop because it's costing the taxpayer billions of dollars. It's very simple when you look at it. How it's handled is where the crime kicks in. Because when you handle it the way that the Trump administration is handling it, we want the most qualified, we want the smartest, we want this, we want that. What you're really saying is, we want white dominance again. That's what you're really saying. You want white dominance. Because if you're pointing to DEI, and that's usually pointed towards quote unquote unqualified minorities, because you're always using the word qualified, as if everybody that got a position through DEI is not qualified. We know what you're implying. We know what you're insinuating.
White men also know what's being insinuated. Every affirmative action program, every DEI initiative, they all have the same primary target. We have to replace straight white men. If we're going to take a job from one person and give it to another, it'll be taking it from a straight white man and giving it to anything but. And we almost skipped over straight black men. I think straight black men had a quiet run for like 4 years in the late 70s, early 80s. It was glorious. I think a nigga invented a super soaker or some shit like that. Niggas made video games. And then after that, it was all women and gays. It was all women and gays for 40 years, women and gays. And so I think it's obvious at this point who is really the target of these initiatives.
And you got folks in the administration and Pete Hegseth. Oh my God. The nerve of him to just join into the fray and give his quote about making sure qualified people have these jobs. You're the defense secretary, whose only job prior to this was as a weekend host on Fox News. I didn't bring up personal allegations against Pete Hegseth. What I said was not being qualified for defense secretary, all of a sudden going from a weekend host on cable television to overseeing a department with over 3.5 million people. That's what I'm saying.
LF Third says the DEI problem and immigration problem have nothing to do with each other. I beg to differ, LF. Immigrants are perfect DEI candidates. Being an immigrant, having immigration status is a couple of DEI points. All right. I don't know. I got to get the rule book, but I know it's more points than 0. You get extra DEI points just for being an immigrant. Being immigrant woman, you know, it's higher. Being like a gay immigrant woman, that's absolutely higher. Like there's levels to this shit, bro.
Not an accident. The nerve. The nerve. Hell, was Trump qualified to be president? If we want to get down to the bare bones of it, I'm talking about first go round. Was he? Wasn't Hillary more qualified? Just qualifications. I'm not talking about who you prefer, who you voted for. I'm just talking qualifications. Was not Hillary more qualified? But you decided to go that route anyway, right? But here we are talking qualifications. And I'm all for qualifications and having the best and the brightest, especially when it comes to public safety. No doubt about that. But what you had to bring up DEI for? Every white person was qualified? Every white person that got that job deserved that job? Every white person that wasn't hired through DEI was exceptional and the best and the brightest? You ain't got any black people, any Hispanic people that you want to sprinkle into the mix? Could you do that?
I think if it was just a healthy sprinkle, nobody would even care. Like the 80s. Every 80s movie has a healthy sprinkle of like blacks and Latinos and whatnot. But nothing looks like that anymore. Nothing looks like the 80s. And there's been this constant projection that, we're going to play this clip from Jasmine Crockett talking about, I don't know, what did she say? Incompetent white men or something like that. And there's this concept that, white guys are just not competent. And I want to share something with you guys. So, we have the Doge department, right? I mean, the Doge department, and they're going from like department to department in the government and just finding corruption and graft and bloat. They're just figuring out all these wasteful expenditures right now, right? Elon Musk has like this team of young men, most of them are white, and competent white men, right? The team of competent white men. And let's take a look at one of these competent white men who Elon Musk has hired to tear down the government and all these liberal institutions embedded in the government.
So I've always been interested in history. Growing up, I learned Latin. I was never that good at it, but I was always kind of into that sort of stuff, read a lot about the Roman Empire and things. And one day I was just listening to a podcast back in March. It was with Nat Friedman. He just kind of got on the podcast, explained like there are these burnt up scrolls that were buried in the Pompeii eruption. No one knows how to read them. But some professors have created CT scans of these scrolls, and they uploaded the data on the internet as a competition to see who could find writing inside of these scrolls. And when I heard that, I was just immediately like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool project. I have to work on this. I just went home from work that day at the end of the day, and I've been working on it evenings and weekends ever since. I run most of the things from my laptop. It's just a normal MacBook, don't worry. But then I've just got like 5 surplus computers in here. This is what I do most of my work from.
For some reason, people think America is just going to be awful if we let guys like this have a shot. Bro, he is deciphering ancient, maybe Latin. I forget exactly where it was, from Pompeii. That's like pre-Roman, actually. But he's deciphering ancient Mediterranean scrolls that have survived a volcanic eruption, for one, and then 2, they're so old and delicate you can't even attempt to pry them apart. You probably can't even let them sit in open air too long. They might just turn to dust and blow away like a Thanos snap. And he's deciphering them. It's ancient Greek. All right, cool.
The Rake School and just the University of Nebraska as a whole has provided a great educational background where I can then, take these skills that I've learned and apply them to problems like this. I just spend hours upon hours staring at flattened pieces of the scroll like this, trying to find these patterns, which are part of the writing.
He's doing that exact same thing to our federal budget right now. You heard what he just said? I just stare at the screen, just looking at all these images until I find patterns in the data. Competent white man. He's young too. He's like 20-something. That's a cool keyboard. I like that.
I just spend hours upon hours staring at flattened pieces of the scroll like this, trying to find these patterns, which are part of the writing. At the start of the challenge, we had not been able to find any writing at all within these scrolls. There are hundreds of these scrolls that are...
Yeah, I think he went to, it was a Midwestern university. I know that. I want to say Nebraska. That's not really Midwest, but, He didn't go to MIT. He didn't go to Harvard or none of the big name schools. He's from the heartland. Corn-fed.
From the mansion, we've scanned a couple of them, and no one had been able to find any writing in them using these methods. Late one Saturday night, I was sitting at a party at a friend's house in Omaha, and I get a text from another person on the challenge team, and he says, "Hey, I've just uploaded this new kind of piece of the the scroll. You should take a look at it. I remotely access my computer. I type into it like, please run the algorithm on this new piece of scroll. And then I just kind of started. I pull out my phone again, just nonchalantly, like, hey, I wonder.
His team has found, at this point, probably trillions of dollars in government waste and fraud right now. They're shutting down entire government departments because, you know, this guy and his laptop, I just stare at the screen all day until I find patterns and stuff. And next thing you know, the whole USAID department is just gone. Just boom. Hey, we don't even need this. He's like, yeah, I was staring at the screen and this huge pattern jumped out at me. You guys really don't need the USAID program at all. The power of competent white men. And they don't want to let them run shit. They think the country's going to suck if they let guys like this have any power. I'm like, nah, let them cook. Let them cook.
I wonder how that went. And there are 3 Greek letters on the screen. The letters I'd never seen before. It was really cool because it's like, oh my goodness, like we actually detected new writing in the scrolls using AI. That was the moment I realized like this is actually going to work. Like we're probably going to read the scrolls. And I completely freaked out. My friends were there and I was cheering, jumping up and down, you know, screaming, crying, all the stuff. I, you know, took a picture of the results and I sent them to my mom. She called me and she's like, hey, these look great, you know. It was a really special moment. Yeah, so this is the word that I actually found. It's right here. It's the word prophoros, which translates to purple. It's the first word we found in the scrolls. It was reviewed by a committee of kind of Greek scholars, but it's the word purple. And I'm glad it's not the word in or the or and that we found first. We actually found a word that has meaning. This would not be possible without modern AI and modern scanning techniques. People have wanted to read these books for hundreds of years, and this seems like the only way where it's really possible.
My man basically went back in time to read some random piece of paper they found on the ground somewhere. Like, who does that? Who does that? Come on. And the Democrats, they don't want to own it, but they'll admit it if you listen to them long enough when they, you know, read their list of complaints and demands. They really don't want to own it. But the simple fact is, the Democrats and you know, basically half the country at this point have been waging basically a cold war against white men, young white men in particular, old white guys, you know, all white guys. You know, if you're not like an ally, then you're the enemy. And it finally blew up in their face with this election of Trump the last time around. And now with this recent election, with the re-election of Trump, it's really showing. The numbers are starting to crack in ways that, you know, people really can't ignore anymore. Let me show you something from James Carville really quickly.
You were both optimistic the Democrats would turn the presidential race around with Biden off the ticket.
Right.
Okay.
They could have.
Okay, so let's take this in 2 parts. First, you just said this sort of intimated this all lays at the feet of Joe Biden. If Biden had bowed out gracefully with enough time, if there had been some kind of a primary, which you argued in the New York Times after the disastrous debate, but what if he had done it in 2023?
We'd have won the presidency about, we'd have gotten 53 and a half. Understand, we were running in a 70% wrong track country that doesn't like Trump. And we resolutely refused to give them change. They actually asked Harris, what would you do different? And he said, I can't think of anything. Now, if you were to put the staggering talent that exists in today's Democratic Party, you heard what I said? The staggering talent that exists in today's Democratic Party. And people would have seen that. They'd have gone, I didn't know they had people like that can actually complete a sentence, okay, that actually can know how to frame a message, that actually have a sense of accomplishment of doing something. If we would have excited people, and we would have had people from the middle of the country, we would have had people from the coast, we'd have been diverse, and then when you do that, that's how people get involved in politics. We have not had an inspirational presidential candidate since 2012. And that's a problem.
The Democrats are in a bad spot right now. They're really going to have to be broken, essentially, because they can't own up to. Basically, the Democrats are at war with half the country. I mean, you're at war with mostly. I mean, it's not even just white men. You're at war with straight men, and then by proxy, you're at war with the family units that straight men want to produce and be the head of, and so you're really creating enemies without even trying, and they think they can like propagandize their way out of it when the cat's pretty much out of the bag. And so now you see like a guy like Elon Musk, he comes into the government with his Doge program, and he's got his young white guy who can decipher ancient text. And this is what happens when the crew rolls up into a government agency.
Some people get fired, and I thought it was just them, and it turned out it was 60 senior people for USAID, and like I watched it happen, and that was just absolutely heartbreaking. People who've given decades of their work to this kind of this work. I mean, they've given their lives, and then it kind of went really downhill. And Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking. We heard they started taking transcripts automatically of all of our Google Meets. They unplugged the news in the little kitchen galleys. It didn't feel good. And then Friday, we heard that Doge was here taking down the signs. And then Saturday, all of the websites went down. And then I lost complete access to my computer. My biggest fear is what I think most people whose works here, biggest fear is that millions of people are going to stop, getting the aid that we provide with less than 1% of the American, federal budget. It's unconscionable to think that people are dying because our work has stopped, even in the past 12 days. And it will continue to happen. There are people that will go without food. There are people that will go without disaster, recovery assistance. There are farmers who won't get fertilizer for their fields. There are people who will not have lights for their buildings. There are people who won't get vaccinations for basic needs. There are people who won't get HIV care, in the places we do PEPFAR. And
now, from what we're hearing from all of my unconfirmed reports, USAID was basically not only a giant money laundering scam, but it was multiple kinds of scams and grafts and grifts all in one. Like USAID seemed to be ground zero for a lot of Democrat social influence, right? So if you want to pay for some shady program overseas, if you want to transgender Pakistani kids, set up a USAID operation, right? You want to deliver condoms to Gaza, set up a USAID operation, right? This is the kind of stuff that's been going on. So all of a sudden, competent white men start knocking on the door, and they're like, everybody hide the rainbow flags. Put your dildos away.
Thinking in my heart about all the people around the world who, with so little, relative little investment, have so many positive outcomes.
And then now, as we're talking tonight about this war on the white man, a fascinating clip came out on CNN a couple of days ago. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Even their white allies aren't safe. You can't even be an ally. You're basically a slave. You're like a serf or something. You have no rights as a white male ally. You are here to serve white men, and be humble. Keep your head down. Don't look me in the eye.
In this group. I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone in this group. I serve it.
Right off the bat, this is Frank Luntz, a big time pollster. Like, he has his thumb on the American pulse, right? This is who you go to if you want to learn how to win elections and talk to white people in Iowa. And the Democrats are like, why don't the white people in Iowa like us? And this is Frank.
I think I'm alone in this group. I think I'm kind of afraid to be alone in this group. I surveyed these people. I focus grouped them. And they are really, really tired of being accused of either racism or sexism because they voted for Donald Trump. And it's one of the reasons why so many of them did. I sat on this stage with you and got chewed out when I suggested there's a better language to reach out to voters, that the Harris campaign is missing what they're looking for. And I say the same thing here. Americans just want to be Americans, not hyphenated Americans, not female Americans, Black Americans, Jewish Americans. They just want to be Americans.
How do you think it makes people feel, Black people, women, any person who has immutable characteristics about themselves, to be told every time that something happens that because they exist in a particular role, it is their fault? How does it make them feel?
How does it make people feel when they're told that they're a racist?
No.
Right. Democrats don't want to own their shit. As much as you accuse white people of being racist, you're actually doing the same racism you would accuse them of doing it. And you're doing it way more. You accuse the white people of racism way more than the actual racism that exists. And so it's this weird moment of even watching it live on CNN, they can't own their shit. He's trying to explain to them, like, listen, they're just tired of you beating up on us. I mean, they're just tired of you beating up on them. And then the black lady, and obviously strong Black woman here, she's like, well, what do you think it feels like to always be talked bad about? And he's like, yeah, that's what the fuck they're trying to tell you, Black woman.
Who has immutable characteristics about themselves, to be told every time that something happens that because they exist in a particular role, it is their fault.
Right. The white man is the greatest evil. Remember, the white man is the devil.
You teach me all my life that the white man is the devil? What the hell is that? Come on, you teach me my whole life that the white man is the devil. Now you tell me it's all right for him to come among us.
All my life, you've been calling, since before my life, you've been calling the white man the devil. And now you're like, I don't know why he don't like the way I talk to him, so I call him devil. So what? Get over it. Ew. You mad?
To be Americans, not hyphenated Americans, not female Americans, Black Americans, Jewish Americans. They just want to be Americans.
How do you think it makes people feel, Black people, women, any person who has immutable characteristics about themselves, to be told every time that something happens?
And note the subtext here. I can't even get past this one part. It's so crazy. Note the subtext, though. Only Black people and women have feelings, right? Only Black people and women have feelings. At least those are the feelings that you want to consider. It's like white people are either, superior beings, they're above human emotion, or they just don't deserve consideration. It's a weird framework, though.
Black people, women, any person who has immutable characteristics about themselves, to be told every time that something happens that because they exist in a particular role, it is their fault. How does it make them feel?
How does it make people feel when they're told that they're a racist?
No. I mean, answer. But answer my question.
I am, because these are predetermined considerations.
But no.
You were going
You're
to
assuming. You're telling me I'm.
Do you
calling
want an
you,
answer?
Well, you're not answering my question. You're telling me.
Yes, I'm trying to.
You were
No, you're
telling
not.
me
Actually,
that
Your response is in bad faith. I mean, what she is saying is something you're not responding to.
All right, now we will watch the women and the people of color gang up on the well-meaning white man who's just trying to help. He's just trying to tell him what's going on. He's like, hey, fella, I see you need a little help there. You mind if I give you some advice? And they're like, shut up, white man. You don't know anything. I don't know why you're talking to me. He's like, but you asked me to, talk to you. I'll shut your filthy mouth, white man.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
because it doesn't address why Donald Trump immediately went to DEI as an explanation without any evidence whatsoever for what looks to be an inexcusable and certainly a very devastating and tragic plane and helicopter crash a couple of days ago. And instead, you pivot to talk about how terrible it is that some people who voted for Donald Trump.
You know the crazy thing about that helicopter crash? One, we found out it was a female pilot, so there's that. And then two, if you watch the footage of the helicopter crash, so like the plane didn't smack into the helicopter from like behind or something like that. The helicopter was flying directly into the plane's flight path, and it basically T-boned a giant airplane. A female pilot T-boned a giant airplane with a helicopter. And so immediately Donald Trump gets on the news and starts blaming DEI and all the policies for minorities and women and whatnot. Because of course, right? Of course.
Instead, you pivot to talk about how terrible it is that some people who voted for Donald Trump are being called racist and sexist. You're refusing to grapple with the central tension.
Understanding.
Frank, it's an option.
Hold on.
Frank, it's an
because
option
my
for
understanding
Trump.
is of the voter.
Frank,
that is what I do.
It is an option.
What about
for
the immorality
hold on.
and the incompetence
Frank,
of
it's an
blaming
option
DEI
for Donald
for what
Trump.
happened?
You guys can all jump on me.
Look at the brown people, all the blacks are trying to beat up on the white guy. And he's just trying to help. He's just trying to help. This is like when the mailman comes to the hood. This is like when the pizza man comes and they just rob him and take the pizza and the money. He's just trying to help. He's just here to deliver knowledge and wisdom. Let me tell you, Darkies, about the real world. It's like, no. He's going to just jump on the white
Racist
guy.
and sexist. You're refusing to grapple with the central
for
tension.
Trump.
Understanding.
Frank, it's an
because-
option.
Hold on.
Frank, it's an
because
option
my
for
understanding
Trump.
is of the voter.
Frank,
that is what I do.
It is
I'm
an
opposed-
option.
What about the
for
immorality
Hold on.
and the incompetence
Frank,
of
it's an
blaming
option for
DEI
Donald
for what
Trump.
happened?
You guys can all jump on me. That's
No,
fine.
I'm not jumping on you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Okay, look, it is an option for Donald Trump to respect his voters and not scapegoat race in a situation like that. He chooses not to every time. Why?
He is saying, and I do not defend him, and I've not defended him on this program because there are things that are more important than Republican and Democrat. And it's why some people lost primaries and some people are not members of Congress anymore. I'm trying to tell you the truth.
Look, you don't have to
I'm
listen.
not-
I just want.
All right, the black dude about to get offended. But I just wanted to point out, because, we were talking about black men not being the face of DEI. Every nigga at this table is on the DEI payroll. I'm just saying.
Important than Republican and Democrat. And it's why some people lost primaries and some people are not members of Congress anymore. I'm trying to tell you the truth.
Look, you don't have to
I'm
listen.
not-
I just won my
Hold
primary,
on,
but you don't have to lecture
Mondare,
me.
hold on,
Would you let me
Mondare. Let me let him
I mean, if you're gonna throw shots, I'm just.
Mondare, just a second. Let me let him finish.
This is why this show is such a challenge for me, because I really am. And I've been on this show and criticized him many times. I've been on the show and praised him. In the end, how do we get beyond how we look? How do we get beyond how we sound?
He wants to say it so bad. I know you want to say the word, so you just I know in the back of your mind right now there's just like a burning sensation. Your fucking medulla oblongata is on fire right now. I know you want to say it. There's like this primal step urge, and you just want to yell it out. Just nah. I know you want to say it right now. Just trying to fucking help you. God, I know you want to say it. I know. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Hold on. I know you want to say it. I'm just trying to fucking help. Trying to help you. I bet you one of you niggas stole my bike too.
Because in the end, we all have a right to a point of view, and I respect yours.
Yeah, I just don't respect the gaslighting and the bad faith conversation.
I
That's all.
also think you
So-
cannot talk about getting beyond all of those things, race, hyphens, whatever it is, when at the highest offices of the land, you have someone saying, because there is diversity, there is a lack of merit, there is a lack of quality, there is a lack of experience. That is a racist view, that people who have characteristics that they cannot change about them, that don't tell you anything about their intellect, about their experience, are by definition not experienced. Do you understand that?
I do, because I listen to this, I hear this, and I internalize it. And for those who feel like they're being marginalized, we have to do more. I agree with you.
It's not even just about being marginalized. It's just about recognizing
I
that.
just said I agree with you.
I know, I'm saying, but look, I'm not.
Why did you even have the white man up here if you're not gonna let him talk at all? Everything he say, you gotta fight him. Even when he agree with you, you want to fight him some more. This is what it's like to marry a black woman most of the time, by the way.
I'm not trying to use academic language to talk about this. I'm just saying that there are people. Look, a couple days ago, there was a Harvard-educated Olympic track star was told that she wasn't qualified to have gone to Harvard, that she was basically a DEI admit to Harvard. That's just from a human
Yes, that's
perspective.
wrong.
That is
we
wrong.
all agree
right?
that's wrong.
May I ask you a question
We
about
all
this?
agree with that, but there's nothing I can say to you on this panel for any of you that's going to satisfy
No.
you.
There's
May I ask you a
nothing you
question
can
about
say.
this? So you're saying this is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single
Time has
apology when
expired.
my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hey, do me a favor, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, hit this link in the chat. I'm going to shut this part of the show down in a few minutes, and I'm going to take the second act over on the Rumble, because I haven't even got to the Jasmine Crockett clip. And we're going to review her appearance on CNN, because, you know, she's upset about the whole white man thing. Everybody's mad about the white man. And so we're saving the best for last, but we're going to save that for another channel. So if you haven't done so already, hit that link that I'm throwing in the chat. We're going to move this shit over to Rumble momentarily, like in a few minutes. So don't get comfortable. We're gonna hit this show on the road in a minute, y'all. But they was about to jump this white man. We ain't gonna let this one go. We got to watch this.
Americans felt alienated by
So look, now it's women and people of color against the white guy. All right, just in case you weren't keeping score.
the way Democrats talked about
And-
some of these things.
Yes.
Okay, but do you think that this is the antidote? That I think that's the question here. I mean, you can be critical of terms that Democrats have used, but it's not clear to me how this approach is better. In fact, it seems exponentially worse to be scapegoating, whether it's hyphenated Americans or otherwise, any group of Americans for this tragedy, to be purging government data from websites under the guise of DEI and rooting out wokeness. I guess that's where I think there's a bit of a disconnect here. It's
I
like,
agree with you.
okay,
I agree with you. And you're probably surprised. That's the goal in all of this.
And look how nice he has to talk to the women and the browns and the gays. Don't forget the gays, right? The blacks, the browns, the women, the gays, because she might be a brown woman. She might be a little Latina. I'm not sure. But the blacks, the browns, the women, the gays. Look how he is forced, if he wants to maintain his role as a good white man and as a liberal white man of good standing, right? He has to like basically tuck his tail, like literally he got his balls shriveled up behind his navel right now. And he has to speak in a very metered, calm, he can't like let his voice get a little up, a little angry, can't get a little excited, a little forceful, he has to maintain a nice, safe white man walking through Bed Bath and Beyond level of energy, right? You have to be safe and calm and try to talk to the blacks and the gays and the women of color and the browns with the nice voice. Like if you're in the woods and a giant saber-toothed tiger just stumbles in front of you and you're like, easy now. I am not food. I am just a white guy. I'm actually here to help. I love the wilderness. don't eat me. I'm going to back away slowly. Like he's talking to them like he just encountered a wild animal out in the woods somewhere. It's just crazy.
This. How do we get to the point when we are judged by our merit, when you're judged by our performance? I've had two experiences. Number one is my house almost burned down in Brentwood. I wasn't even there to see it. And I want the best people possible to be on the front lines fighting that fire. I landed 55 minutes before this plane landed. I could have been on it. So I feel it. I hear this and I get it. And you're.
Do you hear the supplicant, I'm your ally language? It's like, I am here. I am a white man who gets it. I understand. What do you need? What do you need? You need reparations? You want to sit on the front of the bus? You need a blowjob? What do you need? I am an ally. I am here. I get it. I understand. And shout out to my girl Carmen in the chat. I mean, my girl Carmen in the chat with the $5 Rumble chat. She says, for the good times. Yes, thank you so much for the good times. Yeah, little old Al Green sang a night right there. You know, I sang for you, baby. Shout out to my girl Carmen with the $5 Rumble chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for support.
I need that money.
You're correct and you're correct. The question is, do we beat up on it and yell about it and complain, or do we try to get a solution? Do we try to get beyond it? And the problem is, there's nothing I can say that's going to convince you.
But in order for us to get beyond it, Donald Trump and the woke right, they have to stop talking about it. The reason that we're talking about it is because it was a deliberate decision that the Trump administration made.
You know what I hate about this whole atmosphere right now? This is very much like cry bully energy. Like, you've been fucking with me. You've been sitting behind me in math class, like flicking my earlobe for 45 minutes. Just flick. And I turn around like, bro, stop. Just flick. I turn around, look at you like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Chill, what you doing? And then I flick. Dude, can you stop? Just flick. You've been flicking my earlobe this whole time. And then now, all of a sudden, the white man don't want you to flick his goddamn ear no more. And you're like, what is wrong with these white guys? Jesus, oh my God.
Fuck you. War.
Donald Trump and the woke right, they have to stop talking about it. The reason that we're talking about it is because it was a deliberate decision that the Trump administration made. I would much rather be talking about the economy and some of the other things that I know that the Donald Trump administration is going to do, but we're not in the now second week of the Trump administration. We are ending it talking about DEI because this was a decision that they made.
And to be clear, our discussion of it is not out of nowhere. It's not something we created out of whole cloth. It doesn't mean that we're harping on something that the American people would rather we not talk about. It is responding directly to something that happened.
And the only person who to your point, injected race into this is Donald Trump. We could be having a very normal investigation into a national tragedy, comforting these families. But
And again, Trump got all of y'all chasing your tails because Trump never mentioned race at all. That was the beauty of the whole maneuver. Not once did he mention race. You guys are literally chasing a ghost right now. He never, ever mentioned race. But you guys can't get over yourselves.
this is the conversation that not only do they want to have, but they are making it the only conversation around what happened here. And that is not just wrong from a moral perspective, but it's also a missed opportunity to keep Americans safe.
Well, both the president and Secretary Hegseth, I believe, said in that press conference in the briefing room that elevation was probably the issue here.
This is the other white guy. Now, he strikes me as just like, you know, a very invisible, competent white guy. He don't want no smoke. He don't want the women to be upset with him. He don't want the blacks to be upset with him. He don't want no smoke. He just wants to be a competent white guy and keep his job.
It seems to be the case with the helicopter. And to your point, I mean, they were likely right in the moment, immediately after. And here it has been completely hijacked by something else. I do think, though,
That's a nice use of the passive
Can I
tense.
just say one thing about that? Just because we just had a whole conversation about this crash, the elevation is a fact, right? They were at the wrong elevation. The question is, and what the investigation will find out, is what actually caused that to happen. And yes, he did say, "Oh, the elevation is the problem," but then he said it's because of DEI and because of a lack of standards as a result of diversity initiatives. So Trump is diagnosing the problem by saying that the blame is actually on this thing that we don't know had anything at all to do with it.
Right, which is the part where I said then he hijacked the point that he was trying to make about the elevation. But Frank, you're the master of language, so you probably have a better way of articulating.
And you'll never admit Trump was right about the DEI stuff, because now he's just quietly dismantling your entire DEI federal apparatus. You don't have to say you were wrong, but you will say it hurts.
Articulating this than I do. The conversation that I do think needs to be taking place in this country, and unfortunately Donald Trump uses DEI as the euphemism for it, is we have lowered standards across the board. We have lowered standards across the board in the name of entertainment, in the name of whatever. And it's happening. It's happening in education. It's happening in sports. It's happening in the workplace. And that is a conversation that I think is legitimate and needs to be had.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are coming to a close on the main section. Well, the main channel, rather. This portion of the show, we're going to close up the main channel. If you guys haven't hit either of these links that I've been posting in the chat, you're going to miss out, because the rest of the show is happening away from this channel. If you are on the main Hoodservative channel, you are going to miss out. I am posting the links that you should take to get to where we will be in the next 5 minutes. We are going to shut this one down, and we're going to move over to Rumble. Or you can go to my backup YouTube channel, This Week in Oppression with the Hoodservative. Either of these links are now posted in the main chat. And what I need you guys to do is hit that link, hit one of those links, follow us over to Rumble, and we will keep this show going. And we are going to take a 2-minute break, and I'll meet you guys on the other side.
done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, Malcolm. Through USAID.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live on Rumble and on our backup YouTube channel as well. We had to make some changes to our streaming format. Big shout out to my man True Hype with the $2 Rumble chat. I didn't even catch that a little while ago. He says, notice the linguistic trick where DEI is now linked to race. It's not even subtle anymore. Yeah, listen, I've been calling it out. Like it's obvious you're making a particular enemy. You know, you're starting a war, basically. You're starting a fight that you probably shouldn't start for all of our sake. Like, I don't know why you want this fight, but everybody can see you're trying to start some shit, man. And then also, I didn't even see this either. Shout out to Free Zone Lou with the $20 Rumble chat. He says, if whites want to take things back over, it won't be done by doing this timid begging-ish nasty work at play. Yeah. White folks don't really protest. Not like that. They learned to do that over the years. White folks, they historically speaking, they've had other more direct methods for airing their grievances with the establishment. But white folk, I feel like white folk are just getting a little bit of steam under them, right? So you can't expect to see it all right away. You know what I mean? Reason why they lead the pack, this is a marathon. You start out fast and then you're wheezing in the back. Well, shout out to everybody. Welcome to the second half of the show. And yes, no, man, I will be dropping a link for a panel. We will be having some kind of a panel. I hope you guys can contain yourselves. God knows you get all kinds of out of control when we open these panels up, but God damn it, I'm gonna let y'all in my house again. I'm gonna do it. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna do it, damn it. But I want to get to this Jasmine Crockett clip before I open up the panel for everyone, because as you can tell by the theme tonight, a lot of the professional blacks, they don't like the idea of this straight white man having his say. And I happen to think that you guys' war against the straight white man is why everything sucks right now. And I think you should stop.
Here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations he's a white supremacist, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beattie in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion, because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys.
So Darren Beattie, and I'm not totally sure who exactly Darren Beattie is in terms of his relationship to Trump, what cabinet positions he's held, but apparently he's somebody who's worked in government under Trump, and he's going to work in government under Trump again. And he put this tweet out recently: competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. Unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. Now, heads up, this is what I want the subject of the panel to be about. I want the panel to respond to these words in particular, and Jasmine Crockett's response to these words as well. The night of the competent white man.
No, I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beattie in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any
No,
way?
it doesn't change my opinion because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am.
And shout out to everybody listening right now. We got over 100 people in the Rumble chat right now. Do me a favor, man. Pat yourselves on the back and like the video. Do me a favor, like the video. I need those Rumble stats to go up too. And we got 25 people on the backup channel on the YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody listening over on This Week in Oppression. I think I might change the name of this channel. I can't do the show like I wanted to. I'm branching out to other things, but I need this channel to go. I need this channel to pop. So shout out to everybody watching on This Week in Oppression, man. Hit the like button. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys supporting the show.
Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education.
And see, this is the problem with the DEI programs, the affirmative action programs. People who only have whatever position because of their membership in a particular affinity group, they get to grandstand. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. You can't sit there and say, oh, we have all these programs specifically to promote my protected class, all of my unicorn people, and then say, well, yeah, I just worked harder than these mediocre white boys. And this is, another thing. This is what I hate about the way modern politics, like minority kind of codes as female in a lot of arguments too, because women have this same position with men in the sense that a lot of women will never really acknowledge. We basically moved mountains. We moved heaven and earth, changing the way our society functions so that women can be quote unquote equal. And women are like, I worked so hard to get here. Did you really? Did you really? And now all the DEI people talk exactly the same way. This shit drives me crazy.
When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs.
I think in terms of the education, if I was to take that argument directly, why would I pay to educate you when your education is, fuck the white man? Why would the white man want to pay for a fuck the white man education? Which, again, connecting us to feminism, why would fathers want to pay for a fuck men education? You realize fathers, you're sending your daughters off to the university system so they can learn feminism. And then they come home like, you've always been evil, Dad. Papa don't preach. I'm keeping my interracial baby, Dad.
Because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're
I'm really lazy. Somebody look up the first black person to graduate from Harvard for me. Because you know, all they do is lie, right? All they do is lie. All the professional black people on TV, they say true things, but then they slip lies in the middle of it to like, the lies are like the glue that bind their truths together. And so you gotta be careful. You don't always spot it, but it's there holding the truths together. It's like an invisible binding agent.
Not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harris's. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror. Because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans. Listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
Why are every single goddamn one, all of our black elected officials who are on the left, so therefore they're the most pro-black, right? All of your black community leaders, they are all immigration supporters, right? They all want you to be replaced by these new foreign blacks, right? They don't believe your blood is connected to this American soil. They think you're, you know, any person is just as good as you. Just bring them over here. He can have your house and your job. You know, he can have your spot. He can sleep in your room. He can live in that too. If you haven't noticed, I just threw the link in the chat over here on the Rumble. If you guys want to join this panel and talk about the fear of the competent white man and Jasmine Crockett, go for it. The link is in the chat. Let me get over to the backup channel. Let me throw the link in all the chats. Make sure everybody is here. Damn. All right. Let's have us a panel discussion. We have our first guest of the evening. What is going on, Mr. Freeman's Journal? Like I said, the conversation for the night is the fear of the competent white man, and this overblown reaction to it from Jasmine Crockett in particular. But obviously, you know, we had Roland Martin, we had Stephen A. Smith. Who's the fat guy with the cowboy hat? All of them. They don't want the white man to drive the car no more. It's weird. They'd rather transgenders and women drive, and I don't think they have their license yet. I'm afraid, actually.
No simping in the chat, free zone. But hey, did you get around to the part where you showed the Houston mayoral election?
Nah, put me on. What's going on there?
Oh, they who's that? Sheila Jackson Lee lost.
You mean the daughter, Sheila Jackson Lee Jr.?
No, Sheila Jackson Lee. She ran in 2023.
Hold on. Which one of these ladies just died? Her daughter replaced her.
I mean, she died. She died after that.
Okay.
Yeah, she died after that, but
I thought her daughter replaced her. That's why I called her Sheila Jackson Jr. because, you know, they trying to have legacies now.
No, but she lost the mayoral race is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right. So she lost to the white man. As a matter of fact, Big Mama also lost in Baton Rouge to another white man. So,
you know, I think it's interesting the DNC picked the white man as the DNC leader. I mean, like he's probably, you know, gay or whatever, but still they picked him.
Which one?
The DNC picked a white guy to lead the Democratic National Party.
Yeah, the chair, right?
Oh, he's definitely a homo.
The dude from Minnesota. No, he's not talking about the vice chairs because there's two vice chairs. He's talking about the dude from Minnesota.
Right.
White dude with glasses, kind of balding.
He definitely a homo.
He's like a young, skinny Tim Walz.
Yeah, no, I know, but he's like DNC chair, like the actual chair, not the vice chair, but the chair. I think he's the one leading it.
Well, that's
But
what
it
I
is
think is
ironic that
interesting
they
about
picked
the
a white man.
DNC, right? For all this bitterness about, you know, the competent white man, you sure just voted for one to lead your national party. I mean, there were plenty of transgenders and like fat gay people that you could have voted for, but no, you picked a clean-cut, well-spoken white guy. He probably went to a good school. Parents are still alive and married, aren't they?
Hey, technically, it's two white men because David Hogg is the vice chair.
David
and
Hogg
then-
doesn't
Clarence.
David Hogg
and-
doesn't count.
and then the black dude that they elected to be like, you know, first runner up. That's
gay.
kind of funny. That
Yeah,
he
that's the
got-
Dominican guy. Yeah, I saw him. He's a character.
Yeah, he's gay. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah,
He's
that's
openly
why he
gay.
got the position, right?
They're all fucking gay.
Yes, they are all gay. Correct.
Yeah, this is a concept that Hood familiarized me with.
You're right. This is what I called him. I think I try to come up with, you know, palatable terminology so that you can say it at length without triggering the YouTube algorithm or you know, upsetting the panelists. But practicing homosexual, I don't think he's a practicing homosexual. I still think he's just as gay, though. You know, it's a fine line.
Hey, can I just quickly shout out Dirty Folk here? This is going to be a stunning admission.
Oh shit.
He's correct. They do.
Can we get that one more time for the people in the back there, sir? What was that?
Black women do want to go back.
Dirty folks is what?
They do want to go back to slavery. They do. That's exactly what they want.
They always have been American, man.
And the reason they want that is because they feel like second chair next to the white man. What's that picture? One day all these blacks will be yours, Keisha. He's 100% right. That's it. That's it. This is exactly what they want.
I'm glad you brought that up, American man. Look, she got the same shoulder pads that white woman got on right here.
Bro, and she looked like
That's
the black
a
woman in this picture.
fact.
She never got that makeup on.
Wow, those are the shoulder pads of white female oppression. Those are hand-me-downs. They probably been holding on to them since the plantation.
Hey yo, Hood. Don't Miss Crockett look like the beat up in this picture if she haven't got all that makeup on her face and got her hair did, even though she like a snack right there on CNN. Yes, Free Zone Lou, I am simping.
I know this is a picture from a movie, so this is all like, you know, fiction, right? But this is Jasmine Crockett predecessor. Like, this is her progenitor a couple of generations ago. Like, this is Jasmine Crockett on the plantation. This is like Jasmine Crockett, like senior or whatever, right here.
Oh my
Really?
God.
This is her. This is her back in the day.
Oh, wow.
This is her great grandmom or something. Like, how many
How am I
generations?
supposed to
That's
let-
been like
how am I supposed to
4
let my
grades,
sons
5
ever
grades?
watch this shit?
You guys are missing it. That's
Wait till they're
Nancy
18,
Pelosi.
then you can tell them about me.
You say that's Nancy Pelosi and that Jasmine Crockett.
No, that's Nancy Pelosi, and that's the old broad that y'all just mentioned that lost her seat that passed.
Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yes.
Right, no, this is all of their
Senior
ancestor,
X.
though. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. She spawned an entire generation. This is all of their ancestors. She's like the great mother back in the day. This is like a religious ancestral picture
Did you
right here.
say
You don't
she is
understand
the
what we're
good
looking
mother
at.
of back in
No,
the day?
no.
The great
Hey, yo,
mother. No,
Hood.
the great
Hey, yo,
mother.
Hood.
Like
No,
in
no,
size and spirituality. She spawned an entire generation of Keishas and shit.
Hey, yo, Hood. No, they real. The one they look up the most is Shirley Chisholm. That's who they really want to emulate. Her in closet, but
This is
bold
what I'm
enough.
trying to
Let's
tell
go.
you. It all started on this moment here on the plantation. It all started here. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It all goes back. We're trying to track it back to its kernel of an essence.
Are you
and
saying
it's
this
right
is the
here.
original Hood?
All these niggas gonna be yours one day, Keisha. It started out with a conversation. It was a conversation between Madam and Keisha on the plane. They was just walking around, you know, overlooking all the men's in the field, and she just happened to say to her, "You know what, Keisha? All these niggas gonna be yours one day." And Keisha didn't even know what Madam was talking about. She's like, "Oh, stop playing with me." And then, you know, look at her now. Look at her.
Nah, bro, you gotta say
way back then.
you gotta say like pre-slavery Keisha, like let me say what Miss and you said all these niggas gonna be mine.
Right. That's exactly how it sounded. I'm telling you, that was the
I'm saying,
conversation.
I say, Mrs. Can I have the strong ones? Yo, but like, look, like what really needs to happen, man, is like I really be getting tired of people talking about how unbothered they are, and then they proceed to only talk about that very thing that they continue to say they're unbothered by. Obviously, this is a thing, man. This
behavior.
Yeah, man. That's some real bitch shit, man. I can't stand that, man. Be like, yo, why you talking about it then? If you don't care about it, why you talking about it?
Because bitch shit.
Bitch shit. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I am again a little Michael Fassbender and Miss Ann right there. The neck ain't lying either. You know what I'm saying? Is that Michael Fassbender?
Oh, I had some other videos we were gonna pull up. Oh, you know, I saw something here. Let me see. Did I have this right? Yeah, I want to show you something. This is over in Australia, because you know I've been tracking this whole white movement for years now, and I think it's interesting to say the least. But here's a clip.
If I'm making y'all laugh in the chat, subscribe to both my Rumble and my YouTube channel, respectfully.
Yeah, post your links.
Look at this motherfucker over here poaching your audience.
Hey, that's
no,
the game,
sir.
man.
I am a libertarian. Hey, sir, I'm a libertarian. We don't post nothing.
I don't. Okay.
Hey, Snowman, you just got to pimp harder, baby. I ain't worried about nothing, man. Now we're gonna get back to the show.
Yeah, the game is the game, baby.
No, I'm big cheeky. How else do you
I
get
call
rid of
being in the
people?
boss.
Put them on container ships and send them.
You just put them on a plane and send them home. Every country's done it.
But there's a process there, and I think fundamentally,
America's doing it right now.
They are.
So why can't we do it in Australia?
Is
Germany's
that
doing it right
Andrew
now.
Tate
Austria's doing it right now. Sweden's doing it
Timu
right
version?
now. They're all warming.
It's Aussie Tate, not Andrew Tate.
No, is that the Timu version? Is that the Timu
Aussie
version?
Tate.
Though?
Aussie Tate. Yeah. Aussie. Andrew is his cousin.
Yo, what's up with the porn stash though, bro?
That's what
and
they
what's
do
up
in
with the dude
Australia.
look like Bill Gates?
That's a molester stash. What are you talking about?
That's how you get all the koala pussy, bro. You don't know nothing about Australian game.
Them koala bears are something else over there, man. I wouldn't fuck with them. They try and
How
kill you.
else do you get rid of people? Put them on a container ships and send them.
You just put them on a plane and send them home. Every country's done it.
But there's a process there, and I think fundamentally,
America's doing it right now.
They are.
So why can't we do it in Australia? Germany's doing it right now. Austria's doing it right now. Sweden's doing it right now. They're all warming up.
Yeah, a lot of Europe is basically on. They're calling it remigration. You know, it all started with a song, Ausländer aus. In Germany, the Germans are going to start Germany. They're going to start doing the thing they used to do. It's going to happen. The Germans are going to become German again one of these days.
You really foresee that in our future?
I don't know if it's in our. Well, it probably is in our lifetime because it seems like things are happening faster.
Dude, that would be amazing to see Germany actually Germany again.
They're trying to kick out the immigrants. Even Germany wants to kick out the Muslims. So it starts.
I think the term. I think the term you're looking for is repatriation.
No,
they're looking to repatriate those countries.
They're calling it remigration. I'm telling you, they made up a word for it. They don't want to call it repatriation. Repatriation sounds nice or something. It's remigration, like bye, nigga.
Yeah, they send you straight home. And then did you see the video from like maybe 4 years ago where the dude dressed up like Tiny Mustache Man in like Austria? And he actually got a pretty warm welcome, man.
And he was walking around just chatting with people, and they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you would do that. Is it really you?"
Yeah, they're
It's like
taking
you saw
selfies
Michael
with
Jackson, bro.
Yeah, they were taking selfies with dude. I was like, yo, this is wild, man. Actually, as a matter of fact, I seen like a young German dude online talking about like the Western talks about Mustache Man is actually a good thing because they can't talk about it in their country. And it's like
Oh, sorry, I probably my German.
9.
Go on.
No, that's all I had. That's all I had to say, man. Apparently
sorry, let me jump in. I'm sorry, I was doing something. I was trying to organize. I didn't notice this in the chat. Shout out to True Hype with the $2 chat, the $2 Rumble chat. He said, "Let me get this straight. Jasmine is unbothered, but only ever talks about this and is up to date on reading statistics." I'm sorry about that, True Hype. I just now caught that Rumble chat. But thank you for that, by the way. But that's what's crazy about it. Like, she says she knows the statistics, but technically the statistics are actually in the
Are you really going to trust girl math?
No, that's my point. Like, they all lie. It's not even just the girls. You can't trust anything coming from the left wing. Don't trust any of their numbers. Don't trust any of their arguments. Make them explain the definition of every single word they use in every sentence. Like, you can't trust anything.
Women, gays, and felons, man.
Right. We have to develop our own like decoder to understand them, and it starts with lack of trust. Like that's how you start to understand them first. Is don't trust them.
We have SKC. SKC got Chat GPT as well as I. Maybe he could collaborate and we could make a bot and we can actually decipher this shit in the near future. Are y'all down with that?
It don't even need a bot. I'm just telling you, it's like, do you need a bot to talk to hoes?
I mean, they already got the actual bots on smartphones and actual Chat GPT.
Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
that's lame too. But I'm just saying, you didn't need a bot to talk to hoes.
I don't even like talking to my wife. Why would I want to talk to hoes?
Well, because you just have a respectable dislike of her, like most men should. Like, you love her, but like I'd rather be doing other shit most of the time. Like that's how you start with a respectable distrust, and from there you can translate. I promise you. Just assume full of shit, and the questions will begin to present themselves. And then,
or in other words, live your life like Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin had to answer all along. Look up his memoirs.
Yo, Hood. That's what I wanted to say. Right? She said that they want to not fund HBCUs. I've literally not heard a single white man say that.
And Trump specifically funded them.
Trump actually said, right? There's actual video of him saying, "Why should you come begging every year? Here you go. Don't come back." Joe Biden said, "Yeah, you need to come grovel at my feet every year." And black people said, "Yes, we want to grovel at your feet every year."
Hey, American man, why are you spending time talking about the truth? Why are you spending time talking about the truth with these people?
You know what? You're right, sir. You're correct.
Well, not only that, no matter what you give them, it's never enough. They always want more.
No, sir. It's not. It's not that it's never enough, sir. It's never enough oppression, sir. They need more and more.
Well, yeah.
It's the Walking Dead, man. It's the zombie that always needs brains.
They was walkers, sir. They was not called zombies. They was called walkers.
Hey, yeah, I got you, man. Like, but we all understand, like, you know, the Walking Dead is not where the zombie genre started, man.
I'm Negan. Oh, go ahead.
Like
you ain't Negan because you ain't got Lucille, man.
I believe it started with Night of the Living Dead.
I do got Lucille. I'm a true fan. That's why I said I'm Negan.
But I'm actually more disappointed in black men for being so gay.
No, I'm more disappointed in white men for being fucking pussy ass fags.
Hey, speaking of that, back to these Australian guys. They were having a conversation. I want you to hear this.
They're all warming up the planes.
Mass deportations is a popular talking point.
It's inevitable.
No, it is.
And
it
the
is,
reason,
Blair.
Sam, I'll explain.
I'm a great fan of Trump's what he's doing.
Yes.
Because of I am. But
because he's doing it from a popularist perspective, not from a racial identity.
But he's not trying to make America white.
I think maybe not in policy, but everyone knows deep down that he's not deporting millions of white people. So even though he's not explicitly saying
people aren't pouring across the Mexican border.
Get the Ukrainians out of here too.
Oh, you said he's not deporting millions of white people. We don't have millions of Ukrainians over here. It's nowhere near that problem. But
no,
we got thousands of them.
I'm saying get them out of here too. Like everybody, as Freeman's Journal said,
they are rounding up Europeans that are here that are criminals as well. See, the thing is if anybody's been watching anything, they've been straight out telling you that they're going after the major criminals right now. They've been watching them and they've been fucking doing intel on them to where they know exactly where they're at and going and picking them up.
Oh, so those Ukrainians that came over here, they on some like Russian gangster shit then?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got a lot of Eastern Bloc cats that, you know what I'm saying, overstayed their visas too, that are doing some nefarious stuff. Like, you know, the Boston bombing dudes. From one of the Eastern Bloc countries.
Yeah, you're right. You got a bunch of those guys that overstayed work visas and been here for probably 8-9 years illegally.
20.
I was just being generous.
They just revoked they just revoked a bunch of special statuses from like 3 or 4 different countries.
Australia being white. What's wrong with
you don't.
Well, no, because it's the you know exactly what the popular opinion that is, because it's just racist.
Why is that racist for us to have our own living space?
Because racism is absolutely about racism is if you decry, degrade, or demean.
But I didn't insinuate that. I said, why can't Australia just be white? That's not about decrying or demeaning anybody else.
Because there's
why,
probably...
do we call Chinese people racist because they want China to be Chinese?
No, hang on.
Why is there this double standard there? All I'm saying here, Sam...
Young white men under 40 do not have the same mental block as this older white guy. He's probably in his 60s and beyond, or beyond, and the boomers... they're locked into their particular world views. You know, you're not going to change old people's minds about most things, but young white guys, the younger guys under 40, there's a whole different kind of breed of white guy coming around.
This dude reminds me of my sperm donor.
Racism is if you decry, degrade, or demean.
But I didn't insinuate that. I said, why can't Australia just be white? That's not about decrying or demeaning anybody else.
Because there's
why,
probably...
do we call Chinese people racist because they want China to be Chinese?
No, hang on.
Why is there this double standard there? All I'm saying here, Sam, is that we need to have our own team.
So
this thing we call life and politics, right? It's a team sport. And unless we're playing as a team, we're not going to do any good with the competition, especially when everybody else is playing as their team.
There's not 200 million whites in China.
You got,
if there was 200 million whites in China.
Let me finish. You got Indians. They're playing for their team.
You stopped him speaking. You stopped me speaking before. Now you're stopping him.
Because I'm just trying to make my point. I haven't said a lot since I've been on here. So the Chinese come into Australia. They're playing for their team. The Indians come into Australia. They're playing for their team. They're living with their own. They're working with their own. Not only do we not have our own team, we're expected to play for everybody else's team. How long can we continue to do that and still exist as a people?
He's absolutely correct.
Man.
I stand by that white man 100%. He's correct. Now, here's what I'll say in relation to America. Most white men that are not Democrat are looking at black men like, bro, this is our team. What are you doing? They're not, oh, and it's like, oh my God, we got to be completely white and we just want white men here.
No,
That's not what's
honestly, American man, a lot of white men are just getting tired of trying to fucking tell black people that we're on the same team. We're getting tired of it.
I don't disagree with that. But that's why I say But that's why, again, I said there are a lot of white men that are looking at black men like, yo, this is our team. Like, this is us. We're all American, right?
At what percentage, I might ask, though?
Hold on. Let me finish, right? Because when you listen to these guys talk, they talk about we're Australian. We are French. We want all these people gone that are not Australian, that are not French. And American white men are like, yo, we are American men. You American black men, this is our country. We cannot have all these people here just running it over.
Well, the dudes that know already know, though.
All right. So, by show of hands, how many of y'all remember the early 20th century in Ellis Island? Remember all them immigrants coming from offshores that was coming to build them skyscrapers, take over the so-called sharecropping jobs down in the south of the Mason-Dixie. What population of people did they basically put out of work? Wasn't it the freedmen that basically came out of slavery with the skills, but now they had all this competition that willing to work for the minimum of wages and keep their black asses disenfranchised, all even to the first migration?
But do you also remember what was happening to all those Irish people? What they'll tell you till this day, that no one wanted them around, even the Italians. The Italians will complain about not being wanted around.
I mean, yeah, but they came here.
Why are we trying to pretend that?
Willingly.
No, I agree. They came here, but remember,
willingly.
The history shows they were not wanted around either.
Hell, man, they still talk. They still talk bad to this day about the Polish.
The Polish are shit, though.
I want to bust a bubble in that willingly argument. Not all white people came here willingly.
Hey, it is what it is.
I'm talking about 20th century Ellis Island. I'm talking about them in particularly.
Fair enough. But still,
go ahead.
The reason why I mention that is because we kind of have this easy go-to as Black Americans. We have this sort of go-to thing, like our suffering is the only suffering that I've ever suffered in history, and I just think it's something that we need to let go of.
I mean, we often forget too that the Irish were affected by the Jim Crow laws as well. Just saying.
We share the same Irish struggle. Need not apply.
All right, so we got that. I wanted to pay them pictures. So now I found it that after all these programs and everything, history has now repeated itself. And now the same people that basically put us in this predicament in the first place continue to do it all the way up until the 1950s, turn of the century. Now we're in this new century. 25 years past the greatest century of all time right now that we know. Y'all asking a black man to go ahead and help out on some shit that y'all didn't want us involved in the fucking first place. But now y'all want to recognize us when y'all chips are down. Your men in your own class are fucking weak.
Yeah, Mr. O.
Are you just going to spend the rest of your life making excuses on reasons why not to fucking band up with someone that's got the same fucking plight as you? What they didn't figure it out soon enough? What how they came to fucking want to actually be arm in arm or allied up with you? Is it good enough? I mean, what the fuck, dude?
Well, settle down, you two, man, because like we all know like that this division or whatever is on purpose to keep us from looking at the actual. This is a class war.
Can y'all hear me?
That has race wallpapered over it.
Yeah.
Hey, can y'all hear me? I was out for a second.
Here's the thing, Mr. O. Mr. O, here's the thing, right? I get what you're saying, but I just think you're deliberately leaving out a lot in history.
No. I just I ain't trying to.
I think you are though. I think you are though, because I think you're leaving out a lot of the Civil War. I think you're leaving out who played
I did that
what
for a
role.
reason. I did that for a reason, American man, because I know about I know about the Irish when they came over to the Civil War and they had to fight just to have their rights to fight in this country. You know, that's the reason I bypassed
But I'm
it.
not
That's why I
talking
said
about the
women.
Irish. I'm talking about just like white Americans. I think there's a lot that's being left out, and a lot is left out over and over deliberately. And I think that, like, at some point, because here's the question I ask, right? And I'm going to be honest. When we all decide to burn this down as Black people, where do we go? Right? All of your Guatemalans, they're going to go back. All of your Germans, they're going to go back. All these people are going to go back. Where are you going to go along with the other white Americans that have nowhere to go after you're done burning this country down? And
They haven't thought that far ahead.
I think that's the part that no one really wants to realize. Where are you going to go? They don't want you in Africa. The Africans don't like you. If you want to know how the Africans feel about you, go to Tariq Nasheed's channel and they will tell you every day how they feel about you.
Oh, I already know how they feel about me.
So this urgency to just burn America down and pretend like you have something more is probably not that smart, because you don't have anything more, and you best find a way to be friendly with the people on this land that are your people on this land.
But American man, are they really my people? I mean, when we as free
yes,
thinkers,
because
Black
you're
men,
an American, you fucking idiot.
No, for the name call. I'm just trying to go ahead and use a perspective point.
I like you, Mr. O. I'm not genuinely upset with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to call any riffraff.
I know. I'm just trying to paint a picture for the listeners out there, so you can understand the point of view. You are asking the free thinking straight Black men, the same free
To
thinking
stop
straight
thinking like women. Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Hold on, let him get it out. I mean, I disagree with him, but let him get it out.
I mean, you asking the free thinking straight Black man to go ahead, step up again, and this time you asking us not only to go ahead, take up the mantle of defending this country, take it back, and basically make it a strong image. Because I mean, again, have you seen white men? Not y'all, not you great white men on this panel in the chat. I'm talking about like in the movies, the TV. They are very limp wristed, lisp talking.
That's manufactured.
Yeah, that's movies, TV, man. You're supposed to see them that way because that's TV's job. This is why, I haven't watched TV. It's weird for me because as a kid, I grew up damn near glued to the television.
Me too.
But
Me
as
too.
an adult, like in my 30s, I just sort of phased television out of my life.
Me
Now
too.
But
the creepy thing about that hood, it's in the real world now, and that's why I was going at. But they asking us to go ahead and put the white woman in check. They asking us to help the white man.
I think you got all that
We're
wrong.
not
Nobody's
asking
us
you to take up the mantle and do anything.
Yeah, no, you're talking like you about to get drafted into a global war. Nobody's asking
We are.
anything like that.
No.
The white man is not asking you to fight a war to defend his whiteness. Nobody's asking you for anything along those lines. That's
have he done that in the past though, hood? Have he asked?
But now he's telling you not to take up arms against him.
Right. That's a different kind of thing.
But that was the Civil War too, though.
The Civil War was white people versus white people, and the World
But
War was
they asked the Black man to participate. But I'm just saying though.
White men are asking is for Black men to get Black.
I'm done.
women in check.
I'm done.
Because I need to push back to have some kind of foil. But here's the thing. All right, I think your frame is slightly off, Mr. O. It's not that you're defending white men. You're actually defending the nation and your way of life and all that is best for you as a straight, heterosexual, free-thinking Black man. It just so happens that white guys line up with you in that same fight.
If you pay attention and you look all over media, social media, and everything that's being put out there, and men in general in this country are being vilified left and right.
This is what I've been saying, bro. If the straight white man is the number one target, right? who's naturally number two?
Of course,
No,
us.
you guys, hold on. I've had this conversation with Snowman many a times, right? Snowman and I go back many years, and I always say, one, it's a straight man, but I say they've already done in the black man. Like this idea that the black man is number two is retarded because look at where black men are. They're
Well, look,
already coupled and done.
you got
for.
black trans men, you got black trans women saying that the trans community is the black community now.
No, that's
Well,
that's
That's what I'm telling you.
Opposite angle, from that opposite angle,
The black
hold on,
men
from
and
that opposite angle, I don't want what happened to them. I don't want what happened to us to happen to them, because actually you're right in that sequence of events. All that's happened to the black community is what they want to happen to the white community. But if you spread it that far, you're talking about some kind of global civilizational collapse, essentially. And so it's like, I'm not necessarily arguing for the white man, but I don't want things to get any worse. I see how bad it is, and I know how bad it can become.
This is the part where I tell everybody that it's all fake and gay and just demoralization technique. Because it doesn't take much for the quote unquote revolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think they take any kind of figure that gains any kind of popularity, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of them? But like Andrew Tate, for example, he is a avatar for something that is going on in the culture. There's like a weird like undercurrent that's going on. And there's people that like capture pockets of this stuff, right? And they get thrown to the wayside, but the idea is already out there. Jordan Peterson caught lightning in a bottle for a little bit. Then he had his episode or whatever. Then it moves to somebody else. But I mean, like Joe Rogan's been on it for a minute. And he's not even trying to be like, this whatever. But he's unapologetically a man. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I eat like, liver from freaking whatever deer or antelope or something like that, and I lift weights. Then he says like offensive shit every now and again. That's so simple. But like so many people are so neutered that they can't even say that. They can't even be like how we were in Call of Duty lobbies back in the day.
Some were the days, man.
Yeah, I do miss talking shit to people that could never find out who you really were.
Hey, but it's coming back though. It's coming back with a vengeance.
That shit was great.
Man, now with all these pussy ass programmers and shit they got at Rockstar and all them other Ubisoft, I think one of them went out of business now because all that DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, gay shit.
Yeah, it don't make no money, man. It don't make no money. It's trash. They don't put no time into it. Don't make no money. I just watched somebody like roasting the whole Assassin's Creed stuff, man. Oh man, it was funny too. I gotta see the video.
Hold on. We got this dude Jason in the chat. He says white guys need to put in work and see who comes to back them up. I think it's beyond you or I making predictions. Things are on a certain track right now, and they're going to just do whatever they're going to do. And I think that's the direction they're heading in. Like, if you look at, like the immigration, the remigration thing I was explaining, a lot of these countries are starting to just do the basic math, like those guys in the clip we're talking about. They can see, well, look, if the Indians can click up and look out for Indians, if the blacks can click up and look out for blacks, et cetera, then it only makes logical sense. And then frankly, it becomes a point of survival at that point. But you have to click up for your own white people too. And they see that they should do that before it becomes a point of no return. Because when you look at like the immigration issue with Europe and America, Australia has an immigration problem. Like, why does Australia have an immigration problem? You literally have to take a boat or a plane to get there. But they got the same immigration problem. And so they're like, listen, us white boys got to click up. Now, after that happens, this is why we're having this conversation right now, because I'm saying, listen, straight black American men don't fall for the global homo rainbow coalition. Like, stand by your, the same white boys we've been fighting alongside in all the American wars.
Hey, and there's a weird supposition in there too. So like, okay, all right, if you counted up all the black men, right, that are in America, those are not all your allies. You know what I'm saying? In fact, the allies are over here, and then the other people are over here. So you be the straight, free-thinking black man. You're a smaller number of the larger subset.
Well, this is a different subject a little bit, but that's why they say, like, if we have this next American Civil War, it won't be North-South. There will be, like, the battle lines will look like, polka dots, basically.
Well, so yes, you are correct about that. The thing that I wanted to say, which I just forgot, God damn it, made me forget. I just had it.
After the supposition, that's where I was.
No. It was before that. But go ahead, guys.
Black men, nobody's asking black men to be cannon fodder. I think you guys do too much protesting. Nobody's asking black men to be cannon fodder. Just point your guns in the right direction, bro. Stop pointing your guns at the white guys. Like, aim at the women. The hordes and hordes of third worlders that want to replace you and lower your standard of living.
You're right. Well, here's why. So this is it. Here's why the trajectory is starting to change, and many people have said this. The women are starting to be affected.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And see it. Here's the thing, though, right? You can
Boo-hoo
say
all you
all
want, but I called it.
Here's the thing. You can say all boo all you want, but the reality is, right, is that in this country, when white women and black women start to listen, right? As much credit as I don't want to give them, gotta give them a little bit of credit, right? Gotta give them a little bit of credit. When they start complaining, men are going to start listening. And let me tell you something about this election and what you're hearing now. Say it again.
I think you're half wrong, but I'm gonna wait. Go ahead.
No. Listen, right? I'm going to land it so you understand why I'm saying this. What they're hearing now, right? Pay attention. White women voted for Trump. A lot of black women and a lot of black women did not vote for Kamala. A lot did, majority did, but a lot did not, right? Wasn't because they like Trump, it's just because they couldn't stand behind Kamala and a lot of that wokeness and everything that was going on. What's happening is, and now you're hearing with the immigration thing, you're hearing black women more than black men telling all these Hispanics and all these so-called groups of color, yeah, go fuck yourself, right? Now, some of it is because of Kamala, because, oh, you weren't there for us and we tried to tell you. But a lot of it is because, all of you are starting to play yourself, especially with the trans stuff. You're starting to play yourself. You're starting to try and erase women.
I think black women are going to be the last soldier, like that Japanese guy on the island 40 years after the war.
Not the last samurai, bro.
Hey, American man, I disagree.
They're going to be fighting until well after the war is
But
over.
do you guys notice?
Just won't give it up. There's too much
But do
power.
you-
It's like unlimited. Can you imagine being on the edge of unlimited power and then?
But I just want you guys to notice that I said a small number, right? I never said all black women because that would be retarded. I
think it's a big number. And the reason why I think it's a big number is because there's so much institutional investment that you really have it's like turning a giant ship on a dime. It just doesn't work that way.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. When I said small number, I meant a small number of black women are like, hey, this is becoming too much. That's what I'm saying.
It's only a small number that's doing that. It's not enough
that's
to
the
turn
point
ship
that
on
I'm
the
making.
dime. Yeah,
Right,
I'm with you. I said the number thing a little opposite of what you were framing it, but I'm still with you in that the numbers just won't really budget in the way that we would think of it. You know what I mean?
Hey, the reason why I disagree, American man, is not the fact that they're not affected, but just the reason why they're affected. Programs, man, programs.
I mean, I think it's deeper than that. One, I mean, listen, they're too locked in. the culture of it is too set in. So you really need something like a huge economic shift, like the equivalent of a Great Depression or something like that.
No. Hood, I'm not disagreeing with you there. I'm saying that small amount that American Man is talking about. The reason why they're railing against the immigrants is because they're taking their money. They're taking their pound of flesh that they think belongs to them.
I don't disagree with. Okay, I do
that's
not
typical for
disagree
women
with that.
too, though.
Hey, didn't the ex New Jersey like senator or governor just get caught recently with migrants in his home? I wonder what he was doing up in there.
He didn't get caught. He said he has a young woman who has undetermined situation she's trying to work out, and he offered her a place to stay in his garage or something to that effect. He basically snitched on himself. I hope Tom Homan shows up personally and knocks on his door.
Sir,
Damn right.
they are going to ignore that guy because everyone knows you're just trying to get a big brouhaha going.
Nah, you got to do your due diligence. They don't just show up. They at people's houses. They sit on you for a little while. They investigate, because think about how difficult it actually is to find an individual. They got to actually sit and track you down.
Right, and they would never grab her in his home. They would grab her outside of his home. Because he's just trying to create a brouhaha. He knows they're not coming and kicking down his door to get one lowly house cleaner or nanny or whatever she is.
I want to
all
jump in real quick. We got a new guest on the panel, Jason from the chat, who was offering some pushback. Thank you for hitting the link. I appreciate you. Not everybody's brave enough to voice their opinion, so I appreciate you taking the link. But what did you want to offer to the panel, bro? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Peace panel, peace chat. I just wanted to add that we've got some separate histories that have different arcs of maybe equality is the word, and since there's no equity, the effort put in is going to be unequal. Although allyship is important, it's going to start in small pockets, but I don't think to any degree there should be a high rate of Black male support for any issue that's a white man. And
right away, I'm drowning in buzzwords here, equality and equity and whatnot. I feel the liberal framework that you're operating in as you speak. And I think that in and of itself is the problem. Perhaps you're starting out from a losing position in terms of what I'm trying to pitch to you, I guess. It's not that you're being asked to be an ally the way you understand it, right? Nobody wants you to march. Nobody wants you to hold up signs. Nobody's even asking you to boycott a coffee shop or something. Put your guns down, bro. That's the simple request. Stop acting against their interest. Let them actually have their interest.
And if you have a community where, right, if I have a neighbor and 3 of them are Black and 2 are white, you know what I'm saying? We're more than likely going to have things in common.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's different than me going across the country to meet up with some random whoever. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we're saying is just yo, you don't have to fight everybody. Just hey, if that person's fighting that person, let them duke it out. And just sit on the side and just watch.
Absolutely. And
right. If a Black dude and a white dude are getting into a random fight, bro, don't pick sides, man.
Right. I'm not in it to pick any sides. All I was saying is that there's problems that are to be had that can use allyship in a matter of speaking. But in general, I'm of the opinion that white men have to just get their shit together and get it done right, because it's them and their leadership. The country has a history of white leadership. I don't.
Can I ask you a question, Jason?
I want to put something out real quick. I'm sorry for let me just step in. I have to take a privilege if you don't mind. But this issue of I no,
Hooliganism.
it's my channel, so I have to take
He's a
ownership privilege. That's
fascist.
what it
That's
is.
what he is. Not a racist. He's
I
a
am
fascist.
though, and
Yeah.
I thank you for owning. I mean, acknowledging that I own my fascism. Jason, the thing that I think is the problem when you say like a place for allyship, and again, it's the liberal framework of it all. You're not being asked to do anything in the way that you seem to conceive it. It's that when you say things like the white man has to get their house in order, and I'm not going to attack you directly. I'm just going to use you as something of an avatar. So don't take this as like a shot at you directly. But when people say that kind of thing, they also tend to be the same type of people who like support feminism. So you'll tell the white man that he needs to get his house in order, but at the same time, you want to set up programs so women can have jobs and stuff, which is going directly against getting the white man's house in order. Like, get out of the white man's business totally if that's your position. If you want him to get his affairs in orders, then back off.
Mhm. Well, I would just add to that because you're not incorrect in it, but I'm not a feminist. In fact, most folks would assume that I'm misogynistic in my approach at that political framework. But
welcome to
I
the club.
encourage that in you. Yeah, I encourage all that, and this is why I try to speak. I try to welcome people in, even if we disagree. But it's good to hear that. But I didn't want to cut you off too much. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me and my business. I feel all right about being considered an asshole because of those sort of things. But the framework of the white man getting his house in order, it stems from a lot of different angles, and it's probably too much to say all at once. But being white is a farce and a ruse all in and of itself, and it's just an excuse
How
to
so?
subjugate other people, and that's just what it is.
No,
And
when you say a farce and a ruse, let's take it step by step because I don't want to hear too many things and then overload myself. But when you say it's a farce and a ruse, I want to hear that part because I noticed the white pronunciation. That's always really funny. But why do you say that ruse thing? Explain that to me.
well, I mean, it's an othering. It's an othering for some sort of status that that can't be removed. So the othering of Black people initially in relation to whiteness. That's essentially the first leg up. Long before the country was the country, anti-miscegenation laws were in effect, and also labor disputes were also a thing. And white folks generally was put out of work by either the more competent or harder working Black man or the slave. And that's just been a problem since the beginning.
I don't want to dominate this back and forth, but I will try to referee for a little while because I know other people want to engage with you right now because you're saying some controversial things in this territory, and I don't want it to be like a crazy pylon. So I know other people have things they want to add right now.
Sure.
Well, I just want to ask, right? I want to go back to something you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said equity, right?
Yeah.
And that's a popular buzzword amongst those that I consider to be do funnies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I ask, what does the term equity mean to you?
What you put in is what you get out.
Why not say equality if not equity then? Because I don't understand the usage of the
or
word
merit for that matter.
Right. I don't understand equity when equality would do for your particular definition.
Well,
No.
equality just doesn't work in the American mind, frankly.
Hold on. I don't want him to get away with that. What you put in is what you get out. No, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Explain that. Right, because I'm going to make you dive deep into all these words that you use.
Okay.
And so equity to you is what you put in is what you get out. Okay, now explain what it means when you say what you put in is what you get out.
I mean, the work's going to get done. It's just the idea of your fair shake at what it is that you're exchanging. Most people are working class, so most people are exchanging time for money. And there's a fair way to exchange time for money, but generally speaking, the European capitalism system in it of itself is about an unfair and unequitable way of trade. It just is what it
The
is. I'm not making it up.
European capitalistic system is about unfair and unequitable trade.
By
Well,
definition, that's what it
let
is.
me jump in a little bit right here.
What
When
it
you
is.
say the European capitalistic system, let me challenge that a bit. Is capitalism inherently European, or is it something that is equally practiced amongst most people?
Capitalism has been around for quite some time.
The
There's
idea of trading labor for currency or trading some kind of goods and services for currency.
Right. That's been around for some time.
But you
Okay.
didn't
Well,
answer the
before that was
question.
there was a barter
Hold
system.
on. Let's not pile on. Let's not pile on.
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay,
give the
okay.
floor to everyone, but hold on. I want to get through this slowly.
Mhm.
I just challenge the idea that it's purely European because I think it's a function of human nature. We always engage in trade, and trade is an elevated form of capitalism. I mean, capitalism, I'm sorry, is an elevated form of trade. So
Like the
I
barter
just
system.
reject the weird European framing of it. I think it's a human nature thing. That being said, inequality is human nature too, no?
Inequality is just going to happen within the human family.
So by you framing capitalism as a European concept and then framing the inequalities that capitalism will always have as the fault of European capitalism, are you sort of unfairly blaming white people for inequality that will always exist?
Not necessarily, because some
Not necessarily.
I
Yes,
heard him
not
too. I
necessarily.
heard him too.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily,
please
because
continue.
How?
colonialism,
Go.
the thing about capitalism, there's other socioeconomic ways of trade and exchange, like communalism. Several places, worldwide, develop systems
Okay,
of
don't let him go.
communalism.
Did
Okay,
you just say
okay.
communalism, sir?
He did,
Communalism,
of course.
No,
absolutely.
no, no,
Of
no,
course
no,
he
no,
did.
guys,
Of course
hold
he
on,
did. I
hold
know
on.
someone has a question. Go ahead, American man. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we knew you were
Break
going to go to
down.
communalism because that's of
Right.
course you would go to communalism. American man, please ask your question.
Again, right? I did this to Dave earlier, and I'm gonna do it to this guy. Break down, because see, I'm gonna break you down.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Explain communalism to us, right? Because you're going to use all these words, but I'm going to make you explain them. You're just not going to buzz by them without any explanation. So
Okay.
explain communalism.
Okay. Communalism. Let's see.
Oh, you're going to go to Google.
No,
Okay.
no. My explanation of communalism.
Easy
It's
down. Easy down.
I would explain that it is a community oriented way of sharing produced goods. Yeah, absolutely. Because bartering exists in that system in a way that it doesn't in capitalism.
All right.
Sir, that's communism. What you just described.
Well, we do. Hey,
Communal, communal, not much difference. It's very linguistically
hey,
connected for a
hey,
reason.
we do got to be careful though, because in America we have a mixed system.
Yes.
We have some social things, and we have like hell, if you wanted to make a commune, you could do that, and people have done that before.
Even our social programs are not really communistic in the way that a lot of the left wing likes to stretch the definition. But I want to pause. I want to put a plug in that little part of the conversation for a second. SKC in the chat, he claims to be retired, so he doesn't join panels anymore. But he asked a question I want you to answer, if you don't mind, Jason.
Sure.
If the white man doesn't get his house in order, you lose too. Now, how do you like that? How do you like that? I mean, I want you to actually.
What's my opinion about the white man and his losses?
No, not that. Let me frame it exactly the way I want you to answer it. If the white man doesn't get his house in order, us as Black Americans suffer, if not the most, honestly, because when the country collapses, we just won't really survive the way white people would probably survive. And I want you to actually address that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you do believe in if the white man catch a cold, we catch pneumonia.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
okay. And so now if his house ain't in order, we're
Right.
screwed. So go ahead and answer, please, good sir.
Okay. I don't suspect that Black men in particular can help the white man get his house in order. And also, I don't believe that we're going to be in his way. When I
Really?
No, I don't think that we can. You know, we can. We
No, you
can't
don't
be
think
in
that we're in the way now, though.
Absolutely not.
I would
Absolutely not.
disagree, but okay.
Can I just
I mean,
address this?
I want him to finish though. I want you to finish your thought, please, Jason.
yeah, absolutely not. Just by sheer number of us, we don't have the sort of numbers to put together any sort of effective front to disrupt the plans of white America in general.
I think that's an interesting point. You're not really wrong in that in terms of numbers. I think it's our influence in the social arena far outpaces our numerical reality.
And we certainly don't put them in danger, any undue, unjust danger. I mean,
David Older King in the chat says the murder rate, and I think that's a
black
valid.
men have never had a significant murder rate to white men or white
No,
people.
no.
Yeah,
The
that's
intra
correct.
murder rate, the rate of murder from black versus white compared to white versus black is
Hold on, Hood.
astronomical. It's like the Grand Canyon.
Hood, hold on. Before we move there,
I've never pulled guns on blacks, but I've had blacks pull guns on me.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
well, I'm
So-
black too, and I've had them pull guns on me. So
Okay,
welcome to the
so
club.
you just said that the black numbers are not enough to really move the needle, right?
No.
So you would admit that this entire ruse with the black women is a farce.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think
Hey,
so.
I'm
I don't,
surprised you
I
told
don't
the
believe.
truth.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think that black women are put in position with a helpful and guiding hand as an underhanded way and a distraction to what the real problem is in our community. And
Do you think it's the white people that put black women in this position?
I don't think any amount of white leadership believes that black women are going to lead black folks into some sort of promised land. That's
But
just
you
the
didn't
way-
answer the question.
Who's putting
No,
the black women in
hold
this
on, no.
position? It's not white people.
Yeah, it's certainly white people. And
Okay, so
I'm not
so
gonna get
this
into it. I
theory,
just wanted to hear you answer the question.
yeah, you know what? At least he's being real, right? This theory of black women being the backbone of the Democratic Party, you also admit that's a ruse, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, if you could be honest about it, then I respect it, sir.
Hey, look, I would easily push back.
I'm not gonna try to completely red pill you right now, but I agree in that. I would go even further and say that if you really started to peel back the curtain, I've come to accept that the majority of the black movement doesn't really. It's not black owned, and it really never was.
No, none
We've
of it
been the
is.
face of everything,
Hey,
but we
I
haven't really been the power of it.
would push back to what Jason said recently. And I would do that by pointing to the literacy rates, the current literacy rates, where all these boys are functionally illiterate. And I would be like, I would point to that and I'd be like, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous to a whole society.
Absolutely. Literacy is definitely important to any amount of critical thinking skills. But just like we're led and compelled to believe that black women are knocking it out the park with education and starting businesses and being quote unquote Miss Independent, if that's indeed the case, all these single mothers out here with all this education and money, they babies can't read, they babies don't have job opportunities, and they babies aren't winning in any way that I can see. In fact, I believe that it's more so that black woman's womb directly into prison pipeline. If I were to be saying something bold, I would say that and hold that as a truth, because the statistics bear it out.
I don't know if that would be a bold statement to say here.
Even if you keep it at the school to prison pipeline, I mean, who works at the schools? Who are the teachers? Who are the administrators?
I said womb.
I know, but the traditional argument is the school to prison pipeline. And so I'm saying, even if you keep it just in that, who are the teachers? Who are the administrators? Right? Who's in the school?
It's a bunch of white teachers.
Black women too, bro. Black
Oh,
women in
them
these
too,
urban
but I'm-
areas. It's white women and black women.
Well, they don't care. I mean, if they cared, the literacy rates would be different. You know, that's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but I strongly doubt that the high percentage of female representation in schooling, I would doubt that they have no fault in the literacy rates for our Black kids across the country. It's certainly Black boys.
Well, and these are the little realities that make me kind of side. It leans me in the direction I'm leaning in when we have this conversation about like white men need to get their house in order. I think that Black men have been sold. We've been misled about who the real problem is. We should focus on our own house as well, which means,
Absolutely.
the white man deals with his woman. He shuts his woman up. We shut our women up, and then we can move forward. Men can always make deals and work out peace and all that. But if we let the women speak for us, if we let the women speak too much at all, it only makes it harder to make deals.
Well, the white man has to make smacking your wife great again, like Sean Connery said.
Hold on, no. Does the white
did a great
man
job
not?
with that.
Because hold on, no. Does the white man not? Because did we not watch? What's the UFC guy? What's his name?
Dana White.
Dana White.
Did we not watch Dana White slap his bitch on TV when she got too out of line?
Yeah, but he had to apologize right away.
Okay, but hold on. There was no line, but there was no line of Black women piled up talk about, oh, you smacked all white women. There was no line of white women talk about you smacked all white women. Stephen A. Smith was willing to forgive. Everyone was willing to forgive Dana White, right? But if a Black man smack his woman, he assaulted his mother, his sister, his daughter, and every Black woman that ever was birthed in America.
That's
she's white American, man.
Thing. Black men got to get over that shit.
The relationship Black men have with Black women is just weird, in my opinion. As a white guy looking from the outside.
Hey, seriously though, because like you remember the Catch Me Outside girl? Like she recently had a domestic with her baby daddy, and he beat her up. Wasn't nobody like clamoring to like come to her defense. It was like, hey, he caught you outside.
He caught you outside.
How about that?
That was a good one.
How about that?
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, let me. I'm going to tell you something that I've acknowledged, right? Because even I go through it, right? And I'm like kind of persona non grata. The thing with Black women is they try to son you forever, like they try to child you forever.
Yeah, so do white women until we bitch slap them.
Damn.
Right, and I don't play that. So people learn really early, but
See, with the B-Dub, I was 30 folks up here. With the B-Dub, you ain't got to smack, you got to choke her. I'm sorry. She passed the point.
I mean, you got to choke them all, but like
they all like to be choked a little bit, man. That's how you keep them in line.
Of course they do.
Absolutely.
But they like, right? But particularly with the Black woman, she tries to child you forever.
Yeah. So do white women, man. Honestly, you just gotta tell them no.
I got the second half of that Frank Luntz clip here. This is gonna be the last thing we review, and then we're gonna wrap this show up. I'm gonna let it play. If you guys want to stop at any part, just shout it out.
It's not just about meritocracy, really, because it sounds like, based on what a lot of these folks are saying, the idea that there are not enough white people in certain roles is the problem, according to some of these folks pushing this.
Yeah, look, this is a completely bad faith effort on the part of the Trump administration and Trump's allies. And they don't care about qualifications, because you can just look at the qualifications of the white people who Donald Trump has nominated to lead departments and agencies. I mean, these are among the least qualified people that the Senate has ever considered. When you look at a guy like Pete Hegseth, who ran 2 nonprofits into the ground and had to be fired from, from those roles, who has, confessed to alcohol abuse and certainly has never done anything close.
So Pete Hegseth, is he Tethers? Served his country, was an Army officer on the front lines, has battlefield experience, has real world experience with what's wrong with the warfighter, what they actually need. The Pentagon is completely separated from what that is.
And he's getting critiqued by a limp-wristed Negro up here on the panel.
That really irks me right there, man. Like my combat arms brothers and sisters or whatever, I'll say sisters, but like those cats that actually spent time on the front lines, the medics and all that, and see the true cost of war, which he did. And hey, I'm sorry, some people go to the sauce, man, after they see a man die or see people get blowed up. But this dude's in a studio environment talking about this dude was a talk show host. Yes, he was that after the fact. But dude, that's man, like to dismiss the man's service as it doesn't mean nothing. Come on, man.
Hey, I even thought it was dirty how they did McCain. Even after his service, they tried to slander him, man.
Yeah, his whole thing was like weird, man. He was a rhino, but I mean, he did serve honorably.
But do you understand, right? Like Biden's health secretary was a man in a dress, and
yes, well, we're all well aware of that.
He's considered
film gay porn in Congress, in the congressional room, like where everybody votes.
Right,
in that big room. They filled the gay porn. They had butt sex in there, bro.
And these are qualified people based on sex, but you have someone that has been to the military, served not one tour, years and years, moved up the ranks and done things, and you're unqualified.
No, remember that one time when Biden had that transgender at the White House and they were like naked in the front of the lawn or something like that?
Yeah, they were all out there twerking and shit.
You people can't talk to me about qualifications, bro.
Right? Who was his? Wait. Wasn't his secretary of what? What's the guy that got caught stealing women's clothes? What was his
the nuclear waste disposal person?
Nuclear waste, right?
Yeah.
His Pete, I like to be pegged. What was his job?
You talking about the transportation?
Transportation, yeah, Pete Buttigieg.
What does he have to do with transportation? He transport. You know what? I'ma chill.
He bought a baby, bro. That he transports the baby from a woman's room to his gay marriage.
Hey, Kamala Harris, borders are.
Yo, no. Like before you even get to Kamala Harris or whatever, go back to Pete, Mayor Pete, South Bend's mayor, right?
Yeah.
The black people in South Bend didn't even like Pete, but Pete told me that the buses were racist because they couldn't go under an arch. Like the country like had planes falling out of the sky, had trains derailing, and this dude was on maternity leave.
I want to say this one last thing and get back to the clip, right? This ends the qualification argument. What is a woman? Right, the same people who get stumbled on that question, they want to bitch about qualifications. I'm over it, bro.
To running the Department of Defense in a department of its size. When you look at Tulsi Gabbard, who, is literally someone who many people, I think, accurately describe as a national security threat, now poised to become the director of national intelligence. When you look at a guy like RFK, who's supposed to be over public health in this country, but doesn't believe in science and pushes dangerous conspiracy theories.
And doesn't know the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, according to his confirmation hearing. Pete, I don't understand why. Well, actually, I do. I get it. It's a distraction. It's a way to get us talking about it. But I also want to just highlight for a second the human consequences of this. There were 3 people aboard that Black Hawk. We don't know what happened on that aircraft. But the family of one of the people, this is our reporting at CNN, it says, at the request of the family, the name of the 3rd soldier will not be released at this time, according to the Army said. Though the third soldier's name is not being released at the request of her family, CNN was told she was co-piloting the Black Hawk and had about 500 flight hours. So there were 3 people on the Black Hawk. One of them was a woman. That woman's family is afraid to put her name out there because they know that she will be blamed for this crash, despite there being absolutely
she
no
was
evidence
flying.
one way or another.
I think this
Why
is
wouldn't she
very
be
simple.
blamed? Come on,
Donald
man.
Trump
Like any
doesn't
pilot,
like the appearance of not being.
What are we even talking about here?
any pilot that has an accident, whether it be major or minor, is responsible for that damn aircraft. I'm like, they're scared that she would be blamed. More than likely, ATC is going to get most of the blame of that, if not all of it.
Dude, if it was a woman flying, she was either texting and flying, or she was putting on her fucking makeup and flying, and that's why she crashed that bitch.
Nah, like I'm not gonna go there. Like there's a lot goes on in that cockpit or whatever, and allegedly they had
drive a car. Do you think being in a fucking helicopter is going to be any different?
There's some women that can actually fly. Decent.
Hold on. If she's the co-pilot, then obviously one of the men in there was like the senior pilot. So like, what was really going on in the cockpit? Like, you at this point, you want to hear
Maybe
like
fellatio. Maybe fellatio, man.
No,
Maybe
no,
got
I
carried
don't
away.
know. I'm just saying.
No,
It's a lot. It looks crazy. Cause look. To be fair, we did automatically.
That might have
blame
been
the
Black
woman. Like,
Hawk
what the
Gone
hell was
Wild,
she
man.
doing in there?
That could have been Black Hawk Gone Wild.
No, like so the guy making the calls or whatever, the ATC, the audio has already been released or whatever, or people are already got audio. He was the one making the call to the ATC. She was flying. I mean, there's a lot going on, man. I got plenty of friends that like flown Black Hawks.
It
And
sounds
like,
there wasn't enough going on. That's why she crashed the fucking helicopter and T-boned a fucking big ass 747.
well, I mean, like one of the main
I
reasons.
wasn't doing enough of it.
One of the main reasons why I say ATC is probably going to get the primary amount of blame is because the male pilot came on, a little bit before, and he was trying to get clearance, like go through this area, and he said, "Hey, what are we doing here? Are we going around, or are we proceeding or whatever?" And
Look,
ATC
man,
told him, yes, for
You're
300.
breaking up like
You
crazy.
gotta
got-
get
you
this
got
fucking
extreme
microphone
audio
thing you
pop
got
right now,
fixed,
Mike.
dude. You
Yeah.
gotta get this shit fixed. This
It's
is like
ruining
every
everything.
fucking stream.
But let me get back to the clip real quick.
In control, and he doesn't like the appearance or the implication that he may have been at fault. Now, you can like that or dislike that. It doesn't matter. That is the clear analysis and why he jumps to conclusions. But I would say, and brace yourself for a sweeping generational attack. I hear every baby boomer dad that I know when I hear Donald Trump say, it's just common sense. Not speaking specifically to DEI, but any conclusion you would reach on something that happens. It's common sense. I already know what happened. I don't need an investigation. I don't need people to look into this. I know how it happened.
But he's the
And
president.
but that's why he's the president, is because he connects with that mentality.
He's got access to information I don't have access, or your dad, or your dad, or whoever's dad does not have access to the information he has access to.
So here's what I know. I know a number of people who voted for Donald Trump for the first time. They were so disgusted than what they felt was happening in the Biden administration. I talked to many of them this week. Instead of talking about the economy, I was fielding questions on whether or not the Trump administration wanted to stop commemorating Black History Month, Women's History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month.
This is the directive at a lot of the agencies, but DOD today put out a memo saying no more celebration of history months.
Or Holocaust Remembrance Day or MLK
So
Day.
I was fielding all of these questions. So when people said that they voted for Donald Trump because they were concerned about, the price of eggs and all of these type of things, because of Donald Trump's own doing, we're having to have this conversation about DEI. DEI, for many people, and I call them the woke right, it has become a stand-in for being Black and unqualified. And what I would like for
pause. Because
Go ahead.
you know what, you don't see white people all up here on these panels talking about or even bitching and complaining about DEI. It's
Right.
these motherfuckers. You're the ones that are putting the blackface on it, not white people. What the fuck are you
It's the
talking about?
Gons, bro. It's the Gons like him. You hear this guy, you know what I'm saying, and the white guy. The main one's talking about this DEI bullshit, and they both got the same type of tone, the same type of list, and the same type of exaggerated hand gestures, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's the Gons that's worried about losing their position because they benefit the most. But go ahead.
Trump
Yeah, it's all
administration
made up.
to Susie Wiles. I love her. Never met her. Want to meet her one day. I want them to ask the team, what was our message coming out of this week? And if they say that they felt as if it was successful, then we're going to have a very long 4 years.
Can I make a provocative argument here? What if Donald Trump
think I know what
also won because of the people who think that Black people and trans people and women
Yes.
are taking things that belong to them?
I find it ironic she used the word provocative, like a provocateur, like an agent provocateur.
I find it ironic that she uses black people and trans people in the same fucking language.
Well,
Like an
hold
Asian
on, hold on. This is
provocateur.
the weird hypocrisy, and this is what I mean. Like they don't want to own their shit. DEI and affirmative action specifically target white men, and then they turn around and say, "Well, you just feel like things are being taken from you." Well, yes, it says it right fucking here.
If you think about it, Hood, in a way, DEI targets white men, but it also fucking, on the other side, it fucking lends credence to a lot of these white trans men or trans female, whatever the fuck they are, these white gons.
I think one element with the trans issue is the more we've promoted women and given dominance to women in social and public life, the more men who are like on the weird social and psychological margins, they've just adopted a female persona because they see the power in being feminine.
Yep.
It's really kind of ironic if you think about it and you sit back and look at it. You got all of these quote unquote feminists out here, staunch, diehard, fuck the white man, fuck the black man, fuck the patriarchy. I am woman, hear me roar, fuck you all. Anything you can do, I can do better, bitches. They've with open arms allowed men dressed as women to come in and overtake and overrun their own fucking movement, which is fucking, in my opinion, I think it's fucking beautiful personally to watch it happen.
We're going to get back to the clip in 1 second. And we're going to wrap this up soon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us so far. If you haven't done so already, like, share, and subscribe, and please support the show. You can catch me on Venmo at TheHoodServative, and you can also support me directly with a Rumble chat. And I want to get back to this clip.
Isn't it possible that he actually
Sure was a
won for
factor.
that reason? That they don't think that this is a messaging, change of course, but
But
this
it
is
doesn't
this is
represent
the
the
course.
majority of those. who
But
voted
they
for
could
Donald
very
Trump.
well think
But yes.
that this is the course that they are supposed to be on.
Yes, I think this is what economic anxiety has sometimes been euphemized to refer to, that people feel like they're losing their status in society and maybe their ability to climb up the socioeconomic ladder. And the easy scapegoat is the Black, brown people and women who are taking their place, who are robbing them of their opportunities. One thing I want to add to this discussion, besides the career effects on people of color and women and other groups, other underrepresented groups in government, among other positions, who may suffer because of the that Trump made about.
Never mind Trump's comments. The career effects, I think, will be real. We had a lady up here the other day. What was her name? I forget her name. But she was up here the other day. We had an interesting conversation.
Who you were talking about.
Yeah, you were here. You were here before, and
I remember. I just can't think of her name either.
I think it's A. Burt in the chat. I actually did see her earlier in the show. And
She actually gave a hella wealth of information on a lot of this DEI shit.
Right. And one of the questions I asked her was about Black women and their relationship to it. And Mr. B,
That's it. Thank you.
And one of the things that she helped us with, I asked her a question about Black women in their relationship to DEI, and she told us about some woman who basically made like $250,000 a year doing, DEI seminar bullshit. And one thing I know that's going to happen, that is happening, is Trump shutting down a lot of these government fraud, wasteful programs. A lot of Black folk, a lot of Black women are going to see their money dry up, because a lot of women are eating off this government stuff right now, and that's just going to disappear just like that.
Yeah, aren't Black women some of the most? Aren't they like one of the bigger demographics of people employed by the government?
This isn't just direct employment. This isn't just direct employment. We're talking social programs. We're talking all these little speeches and classes and whatnot. A lot of this
all these
subsidy
subsidy programs and shit like that, where they get.
No, you guys are wrong. You guys are wrong. It is white women that is going to see a lot of this dry up.
Them too. No, them too. Them too. I'm only talking about Black women specifically, but yes, absolutely, them too.
Right. Here's the thing: all these programs that are like sucking millions of dollars, and I'm not talking about government jobs. I'm talking about like all these extra programs. There's a Black woman up there pumping her fist and pretending to be the face of it, but she's the lowest paid on a totem pole. She's just there because she gets them to give the checks, because the gay white man and the straight white woman can't do it.
I'm not arguing numbers. I'm just talking about, thematics. Like there are Black women. Listen, we're talking about a nation of, how many millions of people here? There's a bunch of Black women who are going to get affected by this. I guarantee you.
I don't disagree with that, but it's not as much as people want to say. It's more going to be, again, white women, gay people, gay men of both colors, but like just by the sheer numbers,
bro. There's a lot of
bisexual. I agree, but just by sheer numbers alone, it's going to affect way more white people than it is going to do Black people.
Yeah, but
And
let's just introduce per capita. Let's just introduce per capita, like because it's so entertaining. Whatever.
Right. Listen, Black
I wasn't
identify as gay way more than any other group.
Can I clarify? I wasn't sitting here trying to insinuate that there were more Black women in government positions or hired by the government. Like that would be ridiculous. What I was sitting in and alluding to is that there was a higher percentage of Black women working in government offices than what would really, by metric of global or of countrywide population, it would seem to be fair to be
per capita, bro. Per capita.
Do you remember? Listen, during Trump's first presidency, right? It was widely known, right? Kevin Samuels said it. A couple other people said it. It's time for women to go back home.
I agree.
It's time for them to go back home. You're not, like, as much as you think you're helping, you're not. You're fucking it all up. It's time for you to go back home.
Well,
and now
I think there's a good majority of women out here that are actually just out here doing the thing, trying to get by like everyone else. But for the most part, I do agree with you that, a lot of these women need to just stop with this fucking feminist shit, and it's time to go back to the kitchen.
Yeah, that's it. It's time. Listen, even if you don't go back to the kitchen, right? Go back to having your job, which is fine, but stop pretending like you're holding it all up on your own when you're not. It's government subsidy. It's child support.
Hey, what have no. What was that called? Schrodinger's feminist.
Yes. I was going there. The ones that want to go for victims. What was it for victims? They want to go ahead and get the power of a victim. Go ahead. About Schrodinger.
Listen, I'm just saying it's time to go back home, and I think it's coming to that. It's time to go home now. It's over. Like you're not helping anyone.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't have no home. They have burned too many bridges. They're nice guys. The squares, the educated lanes, and they had basically pissed them off to the point that they don't even want to chase them no more. That's
Then
how
guess
bad.
what?
Hold on,
Guess what
I want
though?
to get back to this clip. You can finish up. Go ahead, finish up.
Well, let me just say this real quick. That has to be sorted out. But there are a lot that just can go home and that need to go home. It's over. Stop it.
DEI causing these plane crashes is that Trump surrounds himself with lackeys who have historically been shown that they are motivated to sort of backfill and retrofit evidence to fit whatever his predetermined conclusion is. So if we want to prevent tragedies like this from happening again, I would not trust whatever investigation they put together, because Trump has already determined that the cause of this problem is DEI. If there's something else that's lurking here that could put people at risk again, we may not find out.
I actually do. I've talked to a lot of aviation experts this week. I have confidence in the NTSB. That is a gold standard agency in this country and honestly in the entire world of aviation. But I mean, to her point, I think there are questions about whether this is going to be a witch hunt for the evidence to support this claim. They are going to be hunting down the people who fit the DEI narrative in order to prove, oh, he was right all along.
Hood. Is audio better?
Not really, but try to save something.
Okay. There's a problem with this, man. If we look at across all of America, the majority of people aren't even average at the jobs they're in. In fact, a lot of people are bad at their jobs. Just extrapolate that and put that to everything. And if they're reducing any kind of standards, it's only going to get worse.
Well, that was brought up earlier in this clip. Standards, the quality of everything is just diminishing, and that's somewhat of a separate problem. But no matter what, I don't think we should solve the problem with replacement. You can't raise the standard. Like, if the problem in your country is low morale, you don't raise the morale by getting all new citizens. Like, no, you raise the morale of your people. You do what it takes to raise the standards. You don't just get a bunch of new people. And then why do you think flooding the country with third worlders is going to raise the standard of anything anyway? Since when has that ever worked? So, like, these are kind of separate issues. They dovetail perhaps, but these are separate issues, really.
Yeah, but they're not. They're just resetting the floor.
That's like the birth rate issue, right? You don't solve the birth rate by bringing in new people. That's just conquest by different word.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, Hood, because I've been saying that. Like, how do you think you solve the birth rate by bringing in a bunch of illegals? Like, that doesn't work.
Well, I'd also like to point out that, there's this narrative that's being pushed that all these illegals do is these low menial, low paying jobs like picking your fruit and your vegetables and yada, 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 and cleaning your houses and mowing your lawns. And that ain't the case. A very good substantial portion of these illegals are working in skilled trades like being welders and pipe fitters and electricians and, running fiber optics and all this other bullshit. And
right. Look at all the construction sites that can't function anymore.
Being masons and fucking roofers and siders and painters. And I'm telling you, man, these are a lot of fucking skilled trades that, we could be our sons and daughters could be getting into, making good money.
I tell you guys, I go to pick up at a factory, not a factory, but at a warehouse or whatever every morning. And they do a little bit of production in there, and it's like, high-end garments, really high-end garments, luxury stuff. And when I first started doing this route, it was kind of just buzzing, full of Spanish people. Now, shit's quiet, bro. It's empty,
bro.
Yo,
when I was working as a electrician and doing data work, man, half of the company I worked for hired nothing but Guatemalans, Hondurans, Mexicans, all on work visas, but most of them were expired.
Can I Can I just say something real quick? Sidebar. Just sidebars, man. I'm watching a Knicks versus Toronto game, and there's a woman referee on the sideline, and I'm watching her blow most of the whistles, and everyone's just looking at her like, "What are you talking about?" And she's just blowing the whistle. And guess what? She's a DEI affirmative action hire, like most women. Okay, continue, guys. Go ahead.
And this is why professional sports are dying. I put out a tweet earlier because there was a video clip. Some guys were fighting in the stands. It was like some kind of game or something. And a girl like smacked him a couple of times, and then he finally hit her back, and then all the dudes jumped up like, that's a female. And so I retweeted it and said, most sports fans are cucks and simps. There, I said it.
Yeah, like she's blowing her whistle, right? And everyone's looking at her like, "What?" Right? Even the guys on the other team, like, "Man, I don't want the ball. You're not doing it right." Like,
Professional sports are dying, bro. It is what it is. But
Yeah,
I
they're
wanna
actually with
shut
the.
this down in a minute. Go ahead, Snowman.
No, I just want to say, to what you were saying about professional sports dying. Yeah, all the fucking conspiracy theories behind this year's Super Bowl.
I already heard there's a script out and everything.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's fucking insane, man. They're trying to say that, Travis Kelce and fucking what's her name, fucking that new Hannah Montana bitch that he's dating are gonna fucking get married or whatever during the Super Bowl, and he's gonna
propose at halftime.
yeah, right, and then they're gonna get married the next day, and he's gonna come back from a 2-score upset in the half, and he's gonna at the script says at the last like 4 minutes they're gonna come back and win the game.
Wait, I haven't even been watching the show this season. So you mean to tell me he's got the top girl and he's in the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, dude.
The writers are dope. Wow, that's crazy.
And if you look at the colors of the Super Bowl this year, the Super Bowl logo, they're the colors of the Chiefs.
Hey, allegedly, they were gonna have like a no racism logo in the end zone, and they've moved past that.
Did you see Snoop Dogg? And I think what's the quarterback? From the Patriots.
Tom
Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady, I think they got like this anti-racism commercial. It's so gay. It's lame.
Apparently they're charging people like 3 times as much as what they would have charged them for commercials this year because of Taylor Swift, Hannah Montana, being married what's his nuts.
Anyway, let me know how the Super Bowl goes, guys. I'll catch you later. All right.
Shit no more.
Listen, we got to wrap this one up, man. You guys have a good one. We are done, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for coming through tonight. Appreciate everybody. Follow me over to all these different channels. Eventually, I'm going to just stop, streaming off the main channel. I don't know. I may never stop streaming off the main channel until they finally end it all. I might just dump all the content one day and let it go dead for a while and then try to get it monetized again. Who knows? But we got a new strategy for now. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me. We are going to end this one tonight. Appreciate everybody who came through. Appreciate everybody on the panel. Shout out to all the contributors to tonight's show. I will catch you guys tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow with another show. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll do something, man. You guys take care.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.